Geez, I'm so popular today. I think all this time wasted talking trash will be better spent on target practice. Bang, bang.
Olá, eu sou o Jax da Hard Esports e venho representar o Brasil nessa PMGC.
E aí, rapaziada, eu sou o Foxzinho, jogador da Black Dragons.
E aí, galera, eu sou o Revo, jogador da Alpha 7 Esports.
Eu acho que viemos muito forte para essa PMGC, temos um conjunto diferenciado.
Soy Marco de Team Queso y como campeones de la TAM no tenemos problema en meterle una bala a los 4.
Hola, soy Fernand de Bullock Chapter y dicen que Team Queso tiene buen juego, pero no van a ser capaces de tener mis balas.
E o recado que eu posso dar a eles é que a Alpha 7 é muito forte para esse mundial y tomem cuidado.
Alpha 7 es un equipo bueno, pero Furu Gaming de Chile viene a darle vacación a cada uno de ellos.
Concordo que a Alpha 7 pode vencer, mas nós também podemos. Também tem possibilidade de ganhar. A Alpha 7 também, e eles podem voltar para casa mais cedo.
Concuerdo, nosotros por nuestra parte estamos buscando mejorar el rendimiento de las veces pasadas. Supongo que con 3 chicken dinners por día vamos a estar bien.
Nós falamos poucos e mostramos dentro do jogo tudo.
No hay problema, los veremos en el campo de batalla.
Hi everyone, I'm Coops from the Knights from the United States. Bring your best game to the tournament and we'll show you what it really means to pop off.
Hi, I'm Tensa from North America, and I just wanted to say that getting too relaxed can usually have teams leaving you in the dust, so I would suggest cooling it down a little, buddy.
I'm J7 from Exet, and we upgraded our team on all fronts, and we were ready to rock this PMGC.
Oh, me tienen tan asustado. No soy una persona polémica, pero sí sé mucho sobre los chicken dinners. Yo soy Asta, de la élite de Aton Esports, pero no pido mucho esta vez. Solo pido un pase a la gran final.
I'm aiming for top 3.
Top 3? Sorry, bud. Plan for a little disappointment. Cool your head a little. The top 4 are gonna be the people who truly deserve it.
Ups, tu puntería es buena, pero la mía es mejor. ¿Te importaría poner un lugar de encuentro en el siguiente mapa? Estaría feliz de darte unas clases sobre el PUBG Mobile.
We'll see who winds up on my highlight reel. Have fun and enjoy the game.
Nice. Queremos dizer que a gente vem muito forte para essa West League e a gente vai buscar defender o nosso país y trazer ese título para o Brasil.
Estamos estudiando nuestros oponentes para la final, así que diviértanse en la fase de grupos.
Nosso time está bem confiante com todo o preparo que fizemos durante esse ano.
Lo que tengo para decir es que se preparen de la mejor manera, porque en la historia de PUBG Mobile, en el competitivo, en los mundiales, por ahora sigue siendo el puesto más alto que tenemos con Team Queso. Y ese va a ser así por um largo tempo.
Eu acho que tudo que pode acontecer durante o jogo é bem relativo e não existe uma certeza.
Si nos encontramos en la partida, no nos disculparemos por haberte asesinado.
Gosto da sua confiança, não chore quando você voltar para casa mais cedo.
Also have a few more words for Coops and Knights. If you come anywhere near us, there's gonna be 4 easy kills. Don't come near us. Right, Kill Switch?
Well, actually, to be honest, the strongest teams are all gone. The closest thing to us is Coops. Good luck, Coops.
Espero y disfrutes tu tiempo libre cuando te mandemos para casa.
Geez, I'm so popular today. I think all this time wasted talking trash will be better spent on target practice. Bang, bang.
See them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage, but Frozen cooking a grenade. Looks like Alpha 7 already going to be down a member, so we kind of see them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew he f***ed up.
Frozen cooking a grenade, tossing a grenade. It looks like it bounced off that little...
He did. The clotheslines. He does have his teammates though in the back lines. But what I'm wondering is they have clear line of sight on Poland's position.
Please, no! No! No!
Oh, dude, what the hell?
up. This is a highlight from that previous map. How
It's running bring it up. Much with that information instead of moving further forward. Now the problem is for a team like Rise is yes they can play well. I mean production please stop the savagery. I mean Rise.
Danny, ready for extract.
PUBG Mobile fans around the world, welcome to the 2021 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. To the top teams across all regions, we have a message for you. The Middle East. You have proven your worth. Now, make your formidable debut on the PMGC stage. South Korea, forget the past. This year, show the world you've ascended. Remind the world of South Korea's raw talent. Japan, you came so close last year. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Bring it back better than ever. The Americas, you're the alpha dogs that dominated the West. Now, lead the pack on the world stage. Southeast Asia, you took down so many strong teams on your journey to the top. It's time for a comeback on the global stage. Europe, it's now or never. Push your limits and surprise us all. This is the moment to create your legacy. South Asia, you were the dark horse of 2020. Amaze those who would underestimate you again. China, you carry the crown of last year's PMGC. Now, with everyone's eyes on you once more, can you secure back-to-back victories? PMGC needs a champion. The world needs a champion. Who will stand victorious in the end? Who will be next to glory?
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
Hello and welcome once again to PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 in the West League. It is week 2, day 2, and gotta say, yesterday's matches were quite exciting. I am Span Cargo. With me are, of course, my analysts Zute and Glitter. Y'all, how are you feeling today? This is day 2 of the league play before the next Super Weekend.
I will say I am probably definitely feeling better than Ghost Gaming.
Oh,
so
yeah, okay.
There's that. Go ahead, Glitter.
No, I was hoping that you'd bring them up. I feel like there are some teams that we were hoping would perform better this week than they did in comparison to last week of league play. And right now, 2 of those teams that aren't performing better are Ghost and Queso being down at the bottom. And it's even more important for the likes of Queso because they're one of the teams that didn't qualify last time to the Super Weekend.
I actually had a question about that. So, you know, the last time the 4 teams that didn't go ahead and qualify were Exet, Queso, Blue Chaptown, Besiktas, Esports. It looks like Blue Chaptown kind of got themselves out of there. They're in 6th place right now. They kind of got themselves in a safe spot, but it's still, the rest of them still kind of not in a good spot whatsoever. I mean, Besiktas, Queso, both 17th and 19th. I mean, we'll take a look at the overall in a moment. And still Exet not in a great spot as well. Like, something obviously needs to change because if you look at this format here, you know, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's the 2nd day of the weekday. They have to go ahead and get in the top 16 to make it to the Super Weekend because it being the 2nd Super Weekend, this is the 2nd to last chance to go ahead and get in the top 16 points to make it to the league final. So, like, what do they have to change? Like, don't they have to kind of make it into this next Super Weekend, Zute?
Oh, 100%. The teams you mentioned, it would be very surprising to me if a team were to miss 2 Super Weekends and make in, so they kind of do have to make it in on this one. And you asked, like, what do they have to change? Well, the problem is, like, a lot of the teams that didn't play, most of their VOD footage and reviews were on other maps, right? We only play like 1 Sanhok a day. Now we got multiple Sanhoks, and I think that's really, you know, throwing a curveball to a lot of these teams that thought that they could maybe do better this week around, but then are still struggling, Glitter.
Yeah, and to be fair to Besiktas and to Queso, they are some of those bottom squads from last week that have only played a couple games so far, so they do have more games to get in. They both sat out 2 games yesterday, so obviously they are a little bit behind the teams like Exet, who did play all games yesterday, and that's a bigger concern for me when we're looking at the standings, because Exet is only, I believe, 6 points above the likes of like Besiktas, who has those less games. So that's where those numbers start to play in a little bit here and become a concern. But you guys can see all the way down there at the bottom, still in single digits, is Ghost. Now, on that same token, Ghost also sat out 2 rounds yesterday, so they'll have more opportunities here to get some points up. But starting the day off in dead last for the likes of Ghost, probably not one of 5 guesses you would have put in this situation here, Zute.
No, definitely not. And you were talking about XSET. I just wanted to mention last week for XSET, they finished their games early as well, and they were in that top 16, but I believe in the last 2 games they didn't get to play, and they just watched as teams passed them up. And the very last game, it was a Miramar game. All the teams below them that had a chance at passing them up just so happened to all place pretty highly and finish that game off just strongly enough to knock XSET out of the top 16. So like XSET, they are definitely not in a comfortable spot, but given that experience from last week as well, I'm expecting them to be feeling quite nervous coming into today.
You know, I would definitely expect them to be kind of nervous going into specifically today, because as we take a look at today's matches, there are 3 Sanhoks and only 2 Erangels. And Glitter, I mean, you watched it yesterday. The 2 Sanhok matches were just completely dominated by Alpha 7. So does this kind of... I feel like it kind of makes it even harder if these Brazilian teams are just going to go ahead and continue to completely dominate on Sanhok.
Yeah, and cause that's what I was just checking too. I was hoping you'd bring up Sanhok, and I was checking where A7 would be. So that means they still get 2 more rounds on Sanhok here today, which with how scary they were yesterday, that could be something that a lot of those teams want to pay attention to. In general, we saw just Brazil, and we talked about it. Brazil was doing very well on Sanhok. So that is an opportunity for the likes of Black Dragon to do well. We saw a couple situations with them trying to have some third parties, but we also saw Rise when Rise finally came in, because Rise had out some games as well, starting to do well for themselves.
Okay, so kind of a mixture. I guess we'll have to wait and see who's going to go on ahead and at least take that first Sanhok as well, since you said it, A7 isn't going to go on ahead and show up there. But also, as a reminder to all of you guys, that this is in fact sponsored by an amazing phone. Take a look at it. OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro has flagship performance, an immersive 120Hz display, and hypertext technology made specifically for gamers. So the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb the leaderboard. But Zute, speaking of climbing the leaderboard, so we ended off yesterday, 7 kind of guessed that Ghost Gaming would focus more on placement points coming into day 2 to go ahead and qualify, because last league play they kind of did that same thing. Do you think that's possible at this point? Glitter already brought it up. They only have 6 points right now, Zute.
I think that is going to be the strategy they go after. We've seen them constantly, challenge for these hot drops, but given the games that were played yesterday, even if they were to win their hot drop fight on Sanhok and Paradise, we saw Black Dragons just always come in and third party whatever team left standing. So with Ghost Gaming so far down the leaderboard, I feel like we're going to see a different Ghost Gaming today on Sanhok in terms of where they drop, and just a completely different strategies going to have to come out from them, in my opinion.
Okay, Glitter, is there anything else you want to go on ahead and talk about with Ghost? Because weren't they kind of close to taking at least 1 win on Sanhok? Do you think maybe it's possible coming into this one, now that they kind of have 3 chances?
Possibly. The problem is that, and we saw this happen a couple times, is for Ghost, specifically on Sanhok, it's that run in with S2G, and they need to figure out how to win that engagement, and then they might be able to have that better setup going into the rest of the match at Sanhok. If they struggle with that, then that's going to be their downfall. Also taking into consideration that when those 2 go up against each other, we've seen Black Dragon come in and try to clean it up immediately after. So there are enough teams in that area in Paradise that it's a little bit dangerous. So I don't know if they're going to try and change their drop, or if they're just going to maybe share it and split it and kind of keep a respectful distance from S2G and hope that they don't get taken out. But it didn't go well last time.
Okay, well the usual kind of dreaded question, since we are going into Sanhok, I kind of do want to get a guess from you guys on who's going to go ahead and do well, or if we're going to see anybody specifically falter. Let's go ahead and start with Zute.
I think whoever is dropping in boot camp is going to do well, because Alpha 7, if I'm not mistaken, they're not playing this first one, and they take boot camp. So boot camp's completely open. That might cause 2 teams to potentially drop there, but we saw Alpha 7, right? They absolutely dominated Sanhok yesterday, and their starting position is a key factor on Sanhok because rotations are much more limited. So I'm seeing who's going to take boot camp, and whoever drops there, I feel like has a higher chance of winning this match, Glitter.
Okay. I like that. I think that's a really solid call. I think for me, I I'm torn right now between Rise and S2G. That's who I'm torn between. I can't choose. We're going to see how the day kind of starts off here for everybody.
Okay, well, S2G, you know, is completely dominating in Super Weekend. Seems like it's kind of been shaken up now. They're getting that 8th place position. So, I mean, we can see if they're going to go on ahead and bring it up. A different team, though, that I kind of would like to shout out a little bit more is that Aton. Aton's in 4th place overall right now for this league play. Zute, I mean, like, that is completely different from what we've seen of them over the last Super Weekend.
It's great. I think Aton is using this period to kind of, you know, bounce back and get back in the groove of things, right? It's always good to be more towards, you know, the top of the leaderboard versus the bottom. But, you know, I always got to caveat that with, you know, League Weekend is drastically different than Super Weekend. But I want to see them carry that confidence that they're gaining here and the momentum into the Super Weekend and not have like another fumble that they did last week.
What do you think was changed? I mean, Glitter, they ended up playing all of the games yesterday, got enough to get into that 42 total points in a chicken dinner. Like, is there anything noticeable they think they ended up kind of coming back after the short day break, coming into league play, being like, okay, now we know what we need to change?
You know, we see that a lot in these seasons after the first week. It feels like sometimes that first week is that settling period for all of the squads where they finally are able to get a lot of reps in together in a fully competitive setting, right? Where they all have to be really focusing on the points, their rotations, who they're going up against, paying attention to those engagements and figuring out which fights they want to take, which ones they're going to try to avoid. And after the first week of league play, the first Super Weekend, there are no more excuses to be had. I feel like once Aton figured that out, they looked like a more cohesive unit. They were playing together better. They were you know, having stronger engagements as a unit. And I think that's what's starting to pay off for them. Hopefully that'll continue into today because, like you're saying, they're kind of having like a bounce back now and they could use that continued momentum. So, but they definitely do look stronger this week.
Okay, they also, like, taking a look at the overall rankings so far for this, it kind of looks like the same trend, just like last week, where those teams that we expected to go on ahead and do well in league play are a little bit further down in the leaderboard, but then in Super Weekend, they completely just shot up towards the top. It looks like we're kind of trending in that again. A lot of those teams that we kind of were expecting to do well, kind of being more towards the bottom of this league play once again. Zute, is there any reasoning why? Do you think maybe they're using this as a chance to kind of play around with the teams, maybe to kind of get used to them before the Super Weekend comes, since all you have to do is get top 16?
Oh, that's such a hard question to answer, right? Because like I think a few teams have a different mentality or approach, right? I do believe there are some teams that are literally like, hey, we know we could do well. We'll just, you know, relax a little bit, try some different strategies out here. We'll for sure make top 16. We don't need first place. So, you know, there are those teams that we expect to do well that don't do well there. But then on the flip side, there are those teams that are just like, yo, we're just going to dominate like 24/7. Like, we're just going to show who's boss. We're going to put the damage numbers up. We're going to, you know, get them MVPs. And so it goes both ways. So that's why I think we see this kind of divergence of like teams we expect well to not do well. And then there is some teams that we expect well to do well just as well. That's a lot of wells right there, Glitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true though. I mean, we've talked about it a couple times too. Sometimes this is like the testing time really for those bigger plays or those riskier engagements, rotations. You know, they do, if they're in even a remotely comfortable spot, they will try that stuff out. But now, with the standings the way that they are, we're seeing one of those teams that didn't make it last time in a really solid spot in Buluk Chaptan, right? Now there are those 3 other squads that need to make themselves safe. Like you were saying, Zute, Xset's going to be in a position where they've played a lot of games already and they're right on the cusp of that bubble in comparison to those other 2 teams who have sat out a few more games and aren't that far behind. So the ones that are going to have extra time today to get in some games potentially could pass up Xset, and that is, you know, worst case scenario. But all of those teams are going to be so hungry that I think today will actually get a lot closer to the play style we're going to see in Super Weekend because of how many teams are now going to be fighting to secure a spot.
It just hit me, honestly. So we're all concerned about Exet in their current spot, because Zute already said it. This is where they kind of were last to league play, and they ended up not making it. Also, like, kind of thinking about it, we're already saying that, hey, Ghost was a team that ended up on the second day of league play being able to make it into qualifying range. Another team that did that as well is actually Mad Bulls, and they're also down there currently in that non-qualifying area. Zute, that means there's potentially 2 teams that are going to go on ahead and kind of rise out of that non-qualifying range, kind of putting Exet and some of those teams towards the bottom and even more of a questionable spot.
It's pretty much exactly what happened last week, right? Like, Exet was hovering just above top 16, and there's some teams near the bottom that were in striking range, and it pulled through and it happened. And I love what you mentioned, Span, because this time around, the second week, the teams that are in striking range, well, they've already proved from last week they had what it takes to come in on the second day and just get barely enough points to inch on by. Well, Mad Bulls, during league play last week, they absolutely crushed it. But Ghost Gaming, they can do that, repeat what they did last week. They're not in the top 16. They play those placements. They definitely are running strats through their head and whatnot to make sure they get those placements, Span.
Okay. Well, as you can see here, the match is coming up soon. So last couple of thoughts before going into this last one. You know that A7 isn't in here. So Zute, you said that's going to be whoever's in boot camp, glitter, kind of the same thing. Liked that. I'm kind of curious to go on ahead and see, as we already talked about, some of those teams that usually go on ahead and pop off on day 2. Is there anything else to kind of expect going into the Sanhok match, keeping in account of the teams that aren't going to be in this one?
Med strats. It's going to get really desperate for some of these teams. And we got 3 Sanhoks. That's a lot of med strats.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Okay, well, we know what to look forward to, and we're going to be jumping into Sanhok shortly. So a lot to see what is going to happen. There's 5 matches today, starting off on Sanhok, throwing it over to Dave and Hot Jukes.
What's up, Sped Cargo? What's up, everybody? How's it going, dude? It's Sanhok Day. I kind of wish it was Sunday, because then it would be Sanhok Sunday. But it's good old-fashioned Sanhok Wednesday. Dave, is there a better day? Is there a better day, Dave?
Sandy Sanhok Sunday, Soulcase Sunday. That would be the best day. You know what? Let's just make it Sunday. Today's Sunday. Today's Sanhok Sunday. Welcome, everybody. We just forward your calendars. You didn't know, but now you know. But welcome to the games here. Week 2, Day 2, Match 1, PMGC 2021. West side is the best side, Hot Jukes. Enough
Yes,
said.
sir.
Enough
Yes,
said.
sir, indeed. Let's go, man. Oh, what a start to today. So just to kind of recap for anybody that's just tuning in right now, this is the last day of league play here for this particular week. Top teams going to move on to the Super Weekend, and we're going to see some teams fall and sit back. And I'm scared right now, Dave, because I'm looking at Ghost Gaming. They're in trouble going into today. They're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, they got like 6 points. Woo-wee. Woo-wee. 6 points.
How?
Well, we kind of saw the same thing last week, too. So, Ghost Gaming, day 1, nothing. Day 2, they totally focused on placement points. So, they turtled up, and they just played the zones, and they qualified. Hot Juke. So, I'm really curious to see if that's what they'll do here today. But we got a lot of individual skirmishes happening right here.
Yes, sir. Starting off right off the bat. Getting off hot. That's Sanhok for you. Papi Potro getting into it. Rise getting into it as well. Mythic going to get the return kill to even things up. So they did lose 1, but they picked up 1 in return. And I got to be honest with you, even in Sanhok, you want to be with all, you want to have all 4 up towards the end. So I think that's kind of a little bit of an L for both these squads. And Reset. He recently jumped in the water and he's in trouble.
What's going on?
I have no idea.
What is why are we in the water right now anyways?
Is this the practice game? Like,
is this scrims? Oh, you know what? It is Sunday. So I think we kind of caught everybody off guard with the whole Sunday thing. And Sun HP. Look at that. Look at trying to zoom in the 4 times the M4
Sun.
we're prone. Sun needs to save Recent right here. Might be able to. Now, Besiktas, I don't think they qualified last weekend either, and they are going to be one of these teams down here at the bottom. And I had one of our liaisons kind of ask them, hey, what's the game plan for today? And they said, we're going to play aggressive, and we are planning on collecting as many points as possible. And they recognize that their main challenges so far in this lobby, Hotchukes, has been their rotations and how they just haven't been working out, man.
They've been struggling. And it shows here. I mean, you see at this level, the squads, the way they rotate, the quickness, the speed, it's too fast. And Enjoy picking up one player, catching him slipping. He's going to go ahead and get the second. Just get a couple taps going on here, going for the third. The shimmies, the moves are too strong.
Too strong. Look at that. Too strong. But Sun, HP from across the way, able to throw in some support right there and take out one of the squad mates from Eastern Stars. So kind of rewinding it back here to your Ghost Gaming kind of question. Man, they keep their intel close to the chest, because I also had our liaison ask them, all right, what's the plan? I asked everybody what's the plan, first of all. And I said, are you guys worried about your drop spots being contested? And they just said maybe. Maybe.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Solid answer.
That means yes. That means yes.
That's what I'm saying. That means yes to me.
I'm the Bayo translator.
Maybe,
yep.
maybe. So with that in mind, Hot Jukes, like, what do you think's going to happen today with Ghost Gaming? It's a big story, right? Because this is a really strong team from North America, and they're currently 6 points dead last right here.
It's a huge story. I mean, they're considered one of the best teams in North America, if not the best. So to see them struggle here on day one, it makes me really nervous. I was saying it all day yesterday. I was like, you don't want to be a top squad at the bottom, because now, like before in PMPL, Ghost qualified here because of points. They had enough points. So nobody wanted to gatekeep them out of super weekends or anything, because they knew that they were going to come here no matter what. This isn't the case anymore. They don't have that little,
beep, beep,
quick little
backing up.
Highlight
I like
there.
this
That's
parking job.
Nice. And gone. Done and
Banana
dusted.
boy. What were you saying? My bad,
Little
man.
replay there.
It's just,
No.
you got to represent. You got to respect the replay.
Gotta let them know. Yeah, when it comes to Ghost, they don't have that little shield anymore. So they could easily get gate kept by this entire lobby out of a super weekend. And it wouldn't even be a bad idea from these other squads, considering the powerhouse that we know Ghost can be when they are firing on all cylinders. So I think they're still trying to figure it out, but they don't have time to, Dave. They have to figure it out right now.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was one of these teams at the top, that's what I would be doing here today. I would look for Ghost Gaming. I would look for their drop spots, and we know Ghost, they don't like to change up their drop spots. They are stubborn. They like to go to the same spot every single time. I would just, like you said, keep them out. Keep them out of the super weekend. And very curious to see if teams at the top will do just that here today.
Well, one of the teams that really can do it's got to be S2G, right? I mean, coming up Super Weekend, they know for a fact that Ghost likes to drop, near some of their areas on certain maps, like Sanhok being one of them. So, hey, if you get the opportunity to take Ghost out, that's, a contested team that you don't have to worry about. And at the same time, though, do you really have to pull out those strats if you're S2G with how many points you have on Super Weekend? That's the question.
I think you just do it to do it.
Send it.
So you can say you did it, right? You do it to do it so you can say you did it. Just imagine that. Just let that sink in. S2G, they made sure to punch the ticket for Ghost Gaming not to play in Super Weekend 2. Because it all adds up. At the end of the day, all these Super Weekends add up, and top 16 go to the finals. In the finals, huge amount of money back just waiting to be had.
Oh, massive money bags. I mean, we're talking the thickest of the thick when it comes to the money bags here. Let's get back into this fight here. See Furious Gaming starting to climb up this hill. Papi Potro has to know that there's something a little awry here. Do they spot Frozen? Frozen's throwing this grenade here because he doesn't want to give away his location, but he's going to have to go ahead and see this wide open player. Nice little lay down. Not going to be fast enough. Can Papi Potro be able to get up here and get this knock? Frozen's got the Vector. Where is his team? Actually, does he need a team?
Nope.
He is putting in so much work with his Vector. The jump 180, baby! Frozen! Get the Quadra.
Can we get the squad wipe?
The squad wipe.
Scream?
Oh,
grenade?
Throws in. One play.
Highlight reel. 27 bullets.
Patience. Takes his
Gotta
time.
go for it.
He's got the
Gotta
rock
go for it.
again. New rock. He's been the rock poppy. Oh, he gets a jump shot. And he gets the squad wide.
Squad wide.
Frozen.
Dude, 4 kills from Frozen. The M4 Vector suppressed combo right there.
Look at the
Frozen told his teammates, look at the crate. Frozen said, hey, teammates, you just watch me. You just sit back, you relax, and you see how it's done. Frozen coming in clutch there. That has to be one of the biggest highlight plays so far of the West League. It has to be. That's a fact. The squad.
You know why
won.
they call him? You know why they call him Frozen, right? It's because he put those kids on skates, man. I mean, that rock play, two rocks, two rocks, dude, together.
2 rocks.
Wow, what a play! I mean,
The suppressed Vector too. I love the sound of that, and up close and personal, that thing was just shredding them down, man.
Sanhok Day. What can I say, Dave? It
Sunday
is
Sanhok, baby.
Sanhok Day. I mean, that's how we get this started. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow, Frozen. I need to get like a poster and have him sign it right now because that right there, MVP. MVP.
Come up.
Come
It's
up.
the come up, dude. We'll see right now how it's all going to work out for the rest of these players in the lobby. Alucard getting finished by his North American brother, Polo, from across the field. Exit, dude. This is the squad I think I'm worried about the most, though. A team with ridiculous potential, but what happened in the first week? What happened in the first week and in the second? Now they've played so many games in day one, and they're at threat of missing the second super weekend here, Dave.
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to calm down still from that Frozen fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm trying. Woo, taking deep breaths.
His name was Frozen, but that was hot.
Hey, that was hot, man. What is it, Hase Calor? Is that hot or is that cold? I don't know, man. You gotta tell me. But yeah, back to your exit kind of point. I'm looking for Polo and I'm looking for Kill Switch to really get that dynamic duo engine revving up here, like a lot of people expected them to. And that's one of the dynamic duos that North America has, similar to our Coops Xenox duo, who on the flip end of looking at the dynamic duos, they have been popping off. Coops, Xenox, yesterday, they were slaying.
Dude's insane. I mean, just watching, I literally saw on Twitter, Coops get a full squad wipe on Alpha 7. Literally 1v4. Just popping them out of vehicles like crazy. I mean, if you haven't, go make sure you go check out Coops on Twitter. That's where you're going to be able to see some of that stuff. I mean, it's so crazy to see the plays that guy is able to make. And Coops so good all around, from mid-range, long range, even CQC. Xenox, though, probably one of the kings of CQC. I mean, this dude is insane when it comes up close. Probably, in my eyes, probably the best CQC player in North America. So you add that little combination, and you got one deadly squad here. So, I mean, Pittsburgh Knights showing up. I think I could see something similar from Kill Switch and Polo, though. But we're waiting for it.
They need to.
They need it. Exit needs it.
Is it Hase Calor or Hase Frio, by the way? I'm stuck on that.
Oh, hace calor. Hace calor
That's
is
cold,
hot.
right?
Hace
That's
frio
hot,
is
okay.
cold. That's
It's
right.
cold. Okay, there you go. Talk about being hot or cold, though. Team Queso right now, a solid block of cheese. They're looking for that melted cheese. They need that melted cheese. Another team desperately needs to qualify, right, for the second super weekend here. And looks like Tron setting up a trap, not moving a muscle. Seeing the scooters and the bikes kind of just stroll on by. I think you take these shots.
Oh, he waited!
How do y'all know? How do y'all know? Wow.
The
game sense.
The synergy. Yeah, the game sense. It's just too high. And look at Team Kessel. The trap. Not getting sprung on them today.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya. I'm looking at Rise right now. See ya.
Fenerbahce on the run, dude. I mean, he's not even looking backwards.
No.
Just straight sending it to the rest of his teammates. That's got to be the right play. They are trying to get into this next zone. They're eating a little bit of blue. Not something you really want to get caught doing in Sanhok. Papa Blue just too strong. But it looks like at this point, Fenerbahce,
Next
the road,
zone, though.
that
Doesn't
is
even
just
matter.
heartbreaking. At this point, I think you have to either go, try to hunt down some meds, start getting that heal strat going, or maybe try to take down Rise and get some kill points. Because, yeah, trying to get into this next circle, good luck.
Looks like Rise are actually trying to find the fight, right? Take him out, take out Fenerbahce before making that reposition. Oh no. Gary X though, still alive. Let's see if Gary X can get the trade here. Molly to try to confirm Mythic. Gary X, what are you gonna do, man?
Never underestimate Gary. I'll say that right now. This dude is a killer, dude. He's insane. I mean, we've seen him just hunt down people yesterday on the back of some jet skis. This man can make some plays, but can he do it 1v3 in the blue zone? That's going to be a tough one. He only has 9 bandages, only 1 first aid. So, I mean, this heal strats doesn't look too good. Oh, the second trap! The second trap he gets, so didn't see it coming!
Wow. So the first duo, the split from SMB, not successful in the trap, but the bridge trap. Well, we just saw how that worked out in Ayala. So scared right there. Kind of just jumping off towards the end. The football trap. The double trap. At the end of the day, it did work out, Hot Jukes. It's fair to say. It did work out. Because
if it doesn't work, try it again. And the second time was the charm for them. Polo, ooh, getting beamed there by Solke. Footballist looking to press the issue. That knock is going to open up a little bit of room for them to get across this bridge. That was crucial. So Solke really doing Footballist a big favor there. And yeah, with that, they are going to be able to cross into this bridge, get into the spot. But Solke pressed a little too far on his lonesome, and Kill Switch was there to get that revenge for his brother Polo. And
where the smokes at, though? Where are the smokes at, though, from Footballists? I feel like smoke right there to cross the road would have been the play, but it did open up a slight distraction across the way for these two to get really close within grenade range here.
Yeah, Lavazet was able to get a knock, but I mean, with this current position, Footballists can't press this. I mean, and they realize it. They can't just run out into the open and send it, otherwise they're just going to get shredded. So they're going to have to slowly press. Here come the smokes. And they're going to try to press the issue here. They are a man down, and Exec got the full reset. So now Footballists, they can't err on the side of full aggression. They have to play this very carefully. If one more of them gets knocked, they're done. Oh, that's how you do it. Beautiful nade. And Exec
I'm looking
are
at
full
Lavison,
defense.
Though. Like, Lavison, what are we doing back here, Hot Jukes? I feel like you need to be pulling up to support your teammates right here, making the full push.
Surprised Exet's playing this so passive with 4 up versus 3. They have to realize it. Not sure exactly what's happening. They seem to be a little bit out of sync. Opposite, like you mentioned, way far away from the rest of his squad. And it looks like Footballists aren't going to be able to get it done here at all. Yeah, so Exet looks like they're possibly going to get the reset.
Exet reset for about the 3rd time. But as all these fights on the edge were erupting, we had the Knights and Na'Vi up here in these cliffs. Now, these cliffs were dead center. As we can see last zone, we did get a nice little shift out there to that east side. And now I feel like the Knights are in a really good position to possibly make sure to put a fork in the plan of Na'Vi and their reposition out there on that west.
Yeah, this particular circle, anytime you have a zone go up into this island, it's just such a difficult rotation. And you're going to see a couple squads sitting pretty ghost at the bottom of the circle. This is a great position for them to be sitting in. This is what they really love to live in for. But Exet, they are quite a ways away. They're going to have to start pushing in Na'Vi in the same boat. And they're pushing right up onto the Knights. They have to play this very carefully.
Yeah, not only that, like Ghosts, their spot, they're going to be able to recognize the push from Exet from a mile away. So Exet, they're going to need to really do some solid scouting and come up with a good game plan. Maybe hug the water, the shoreline, and try to avoid any type of sight lines and keep a low profile. What was that about? I don't know. But
heal himself first.
Yeah, I feel bad for Fenerbahce. They took a boat, I think, or they swam to high 10. They were kind of betting that the zone would favor that west side, but now they're kind of just stuck up there in the north with no real plan of action.
They're going to have to start crawling in. Here goes, getting on a little bit of the Gatekeep City. HH, nice little plays back and forth. Going to go ahead and throw a nade just a little bit too short. Oh, going to throw a second one. Nice jump shot there from Polo. Does get turned down from Spec, though. It's Spec going for the punch-out?
Kill Switch is like, Jake, get in the buggy, man. We need
Let's
to close
go,
this.
dude. Too long. Dude, these guys will pop you out of vehicle if you are just there for even half a second. It's so insane. Kill switch solo.
Just
try to get the
now,
rotation.
Right?
Yeah, try to get the rotation, but got taken out. Now you can just see him hugging that blue zone, looking to try and play it very carefully, get those extra placement points. And the crazy part is that there's still 13 teams remaining. You go out now, that's the goose egg.
Dude, 0 points. And
Zero.
Sanhok's right now in the vehicle. Don't look at me, right? Don't look. He's got 4 Na'Vi enemies right above him. 2 on each side of the cliffs. Like, talk about the pressure. And now the last one alive because Chico is just spotted. Na'Vi have to have an idea, right? They have to have an idea. If I was Na'Vi, I would just blow up both those vehicles down there. You might as well.
I mean, he's not moving, and they can't see through the windows from this angle. Hey, let's put it this way. Real happy that Koenigsegg doesn't have a sunroof that you can see through on this map, you know? Because I'll tell you what, if that was the case, they'd be in big trouble. But for now, he's going to be up, sitting in that beautiful Jesco. Just hanging out for now. Sitting pretty and getting those extra placement points. At what point, if you're Xenox, what time do you start moving? The blue zone's coming.
I don't think so.
Maybe you just eat it?
You heal. You heal, man. You stay in that thing, and you stay near it, and you just heal. I think that's the play right now is a solo.
Oh, and Fenerbahce get a beautiful, nice little play there towards the end. Ball kicking and starts swimming across this bridge. He is in a really horrible position. Xenox still sitting in the vehicle, not moving a muscle. Nice shots from Matic, catching Bayo out from there.
Oh,
and Na'Vi
Xenox
are
moving.
just Na'Vi waking up. Na'Vi starting to get up on here. They got the position.
Yeah, they seem to be the clear victors of these cliffs out here that Knights were contesting them just a couple moments ago. But up here, Bashik does. Hey, not sleeping. Waking up here in game number 1.
Oh, and some beautiful Tixie plays there. Just trying to get another off angle. He's going to be start creeping left. Xset do go down. HH24 goes down from Ghost. And the Mountain Rage, so strong, but S2G finally getting a little bit of pressure off of him. Tixie's going to have to crawl to the rest of his team. Na'Vi need to start grouping up now. They can't play it too separate. Nice little finish there from Recent.
And I would almost say Bashik does as well, should try to group up as they do get that next circle shift and they have 4 up, but they got a 2-2 split. So we'll see what will happen because S2G out here just laying in the work here, clocking in up here on that west side.
So good at supporting each other with those shots. You know, when one goes down, had to run in the open, the other able to get that pre-fire there. He's going to have to send it out in the open as well. And look how scared Matic is. Even with that position, you know, still peeking back and forth just in case. I mean, S2G, these guys will laser you if you're not careful.
Looks like Spec was the only one to survive this new
That's
circle
huge for
shift.
Ghost. That's huge for Ghost.
Placement points, key today. 4th place, 8 points.
And
Not
they played a
counting their
lot of
kills.
games yesterday. So they needed some big points right here off the start. And this is already going to be a good, solid finish for them. At least picking up 8 if they're able to get in 4th. You know, a good 10 points that they can catch 3rd. And it might just happen because we're starting to see a lot of teams start focusing on each other. Will
Where's
they
the
be able to
Eastern
take
Star
out Na'Vi?
solo? That's what I want to know, Hot Jukes. I don't see him on the mini-map anywhere to be found, but there's still one alive because we have 4 teams. So they're in the blue, healing, deep in the blue. I don't even know where they are.
That's got to be Eastern Stars. That's what it is.
Yeah, where?
Way out of him there. Oh, there he is. You can see him in the bottom right, trying to get some shots off. Going to go down to the blue zone. And there you go. Ghost securing at least 3rd place. Eastern Stars getting 4th. And there's just 3 teams remaining. Spec busts out the UMP, gets a thirst. Oh, Spec's on the move. 5 kills.
Grenade?
Now, can he get this play?
Nice spot, too. Nice little bolt to work with.
Oh, beautiful.
And Na'Vi also throwing some grenades at Enjoy.
And you can see Spec there still just kind of asserting his dominance, trying to make his presence well known. And it's going to be tough to throw a nade on him in that area. It'd have to be perfectly placed. And that was a beautiful one onto Enjoy. The rest of his team, a Molotov comes very close to Spec, but he still is going to have a little bit of that ridge line. Tries to go for the thirst. Gets another knock. Spec is holding down this side of the mountain for his life. Trying to keep Ghost Tournament alive. to go to this next Super Weekend. Can he get this finish, though? Nice, beautiful knock play. Gets finished in return, though. So close, yet so far. What a beautiful finish. Na'Vi. About time, baby. Chicken dinner.
Na'Vi from CIS coming out on top. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Day number 2, league play, week number 2. Hats off to them, holding down those clips, that west side, and just playing it very methodical and smart the whole time. But I got to give a shout out to Spec right there. Almost taking out Besiktas. Another possible 1v4 right there. But we have to talk about them in a sense that Spec was able to garner a second place finish. I don't know how many kills they got, but that's 12 points alone. So they had 6 points from all of yesterday's games, Hot Jukes. For them to come into the first match today and get 12, that's going to help them immensely.
Dude, it's like when you look at Ghosts, you see these kind of like points, you actually do think like, is it scripted? Like, do they plan for this almost? You know, like, let's chill out day number 1, then day number 2 we'll show up and make sure we qualify. I mean, heck, you can say that if you think that that's the story, they're sure putting it into work. I mean, that's how you start off game number 1 there.
Pretty solid stuff, but we cannot. I hope we get a replay. The Frozen 1v4. Frozen 1v4, man. Hey,
Give it to me.
Frozen, if you're watching, shout out to you. My man out here slaying in game number 1. And let's get into the highlights, Hot Jukes.
Let's take a look at it here to start things off. Yeah, and it started off hot, baby, because it's Sanhok day. And we saw action from start to finish here. And then there you go, Besiktas getting some nice early kills. And here it is. Frozen. 1. Bop. Going for the 2. The 3. Bop. And the squad wipe. Man, they didn't even want to show the whole one. It was too hot.
Too
They
nasty.
say, you know, we gotta
too nasty.
leave that one for Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
But what my favorite part of the 1v4 is when he jumped off with the Vector and he did the 360 turnaround. Yeah, the 180 turnaround hip fire and still landed them shots and got it. Like that right there, that's a masterpiece.
Maybe it was so fast it was a 540. I don't know.
540.
I mean, it's just
I saw him
quick.
spin around a couple times. That's what I'm saying. Like a couple spins, you know, for showing off points out here. But pretty exciting game. Besiktas coming out from the get-go.
Oh, nice
aggression.
laser there.
Remember, I mentioned we spoke to the team. They said that they wanted to pump up that aggression here, and I gotta say they came in with the game plan and they executed it here so far in game number 1.
Football is, you know, stealing a couple kills there towards the end. S2G, always a problem. Even when they were stuck in a very terrible position, they were able to put up some solid points on the boards. Of course, Na'Vi, once they got this position up on top, they just continued to just lay down the law. Just great execution there. Spec was a problem, though. Spec almost had him. You know, right here, beautiful shots back and forth. That headshot from Matic, though, is going to shut down Spec in that one. But well executed, and I think that that's how you start game number 1 today. I love it.
Sanhok Sunday, baby. Sanhok Sunday, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head over to the desk and see what they have to say about game number 1.
Yo.
All I have to say is, wow, you're right, Spec. I mean, he wasn't an issue for Na'Vi, but he definitely was, gotta say, for Besiktas Zute. I mean, Besiktas, they had a great spot starting all the way in Circle 5, and then they ended up getting that 3rd place. What happened?
It's, you know, when the circle shifted onto them, that was when I was most scared, right? I was like, they're going to get pushed from all fronts. Somebody's going to get knocked. But then none of them got knocked. They had 4 up. It was a 4v2, v1v1 at one point. And I'm like, oh, they got this in the bag. They're chilling. And then you ask me what happened. Well, shenanigans. Shenanigans happened. That was their game. That was their game to win.
Happened.
And Spec happened, but I would have to say they kind of dropped the ball on that one, Span.
Oof. Yeah, well, Glitter, you also ended up mentioning Na'Vi. They ended up kind of getting higher up on the placement points yesterday, getting a couple of 4th places. Looks like maybe this time they kind of figured it out coming into this first match.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and we talked about that too with a couple of those teams that had like a pretty strong last game at the end of yesterday. Na'Vi with those back-to-back 4th place games, like a few more eliminations on the board for themselves as well in the last game. And then coming into today, I mean, we always know that Sanhok's a little bit chaotic, but elims and the chicken dinner for a total of 23 points for Na'Vi, and that's going to be huge when it comes to keeping them in a nice solid spot moving forward. But speaking of solid spots, I mean,
Ghost
7 elims. Yeah, 12 placement points for Ghost. And from dead last, Zute, that's huge.
They did drop boot camp. I said whoever's dropping boot camp is going to win the game, and they almost did win the game. Spec almost single-handedly like clutched that one up. So, I mean, boot camp. Yeah, there's a reason why Alpha 7 has won Sanhok so many times and why they prioritize it. I'm telling you, the drop spot is important. On to the second page, though. Xset, 5 points. Not too terrible, but you guys got to remember, they have less games to be played today, so I don't think they're too happy with just 5 points. Looking at the MVP, Tixie, my man, almost 1,000 damage for elims. The 999, beautiful right there, 41% team contribution. But this is a huge win for Na'Vi. Question is, do they keep this up coming into the Super Weekend? Because last week, that's where they really struggled, Span.
Oh man, so close to 1,000 damage. Could have gone, and I did a big shout out for that, but so close. Not quite though. You're right though, as Glitter was just saying, you know, it does seem like they kind of maybe found their momentum coming into today, already winning that first one. So I guess we'll have to see if they'll be able to continue it, because based off of the last Super Weekend, they definitely need to go on ahead and hold on to it, because ooh, it looks like they're in 4th place now, 46 total points in chicken dinner. Looks like they are in fact slowly climbing.
Yeah, that's actually a huge jump for Na'Vi. They were in 10th at the beginning of today. So in one game, they're already up now in the top 4 spot, which is much more comfortable, especially considering that last week they were in 15th in order to qualify through to that Super Weekend. So they are looking much, much stronger here. The second page, look at the ranks changing towards the bottom though. These jumps are also very important. I mean, Xset does go up. It's only by 1 place, but Ghost goes from 20th to 14th in one game. They went from not having a shot at the Super Weekend to now just barely qualifying through. All they have to do is hold on to this, have one more strong performance by the end of the day, and they might be okay, Zute.
I agree, and I want to take a look at Xset a little bit numbered. Notice the matches played. They had 6. There are 4 teams below them that are only like 5 to 6 points away, but they've played 2 games less than Xset. This is the exact same repeat situation from the last week. So that is one thing we really got to pay attention to, the matches played.
The one last thing I really have to go on ahead and point out really quickly, Glitter, is that Nextria ending up going on ahead and being able to jump over Furious Gaming, probably because, man, we don't see that too often. There was one player, I think, that went on ahead and got a 1v4.
That was Frozen. Yeah.
That was sick. That was sick.
And that's huge because Nextria was in 16th, right in the cusp coming in too. So you're right, that's huge for Nextria.
Absolutely disgusting. 1v4, great for Frozen. Again, gotta go on ahead and say to y'all, though, you guys have your chance to go on ahead and vote for your favorites, such as people like Frozen for next year. So go on ahead, launch PUBG Mobile, vote for your favorite PMGC teams and players, and go on ahead and get yourself some rewards. Get a voting ticket by logging into the game, watch live in the Esports Center, or of course share that voting page with your friends. Find more information in that in-game Esports Center as well. But basically, just go play PUBG Mobile and get millions of rewards, including treasure boxes. It's a PMGC exclusive. All you have to do is watch PMGC live here on YouTube or in that Esports Center, get the PMGC token, and of course redeem it for that sweet, sweet PMGC permanent items. You can find out more in the Esports Center as well. So a lot of nice, exciting stuff to go ahead and look forward to. I mean, a 1v4 just in the first match, a Na'Vi win. Looks like they're kind of turning it around for themselves. Next up, Zute, is Erangel.
Yeah, next up is Erangel, the team I'm looking at the most right now. I mean, call it NA bias, but it's Xset. This was the North American champions, all right? Like, in North America, they got first place. And you've seen how good the Knights are. You've seen Ghost playing super consistent. That begs the question, where is Xset, and are they going to show up ever? Because if they don't show up today, that means no Super Weekend, and that means one Super Weekend to play with, which is just very unlikely to see a team qualify off of just only one Super Weekend, Glitter.
Yeah, and they only have 2 more games to do it in Zoo. Okay, they've got this next Erangel match, and then they have Sanhok, and then that's it. They have to watch. It's sit and watch those last 2 games like you said they had to do last time, so they've got to pick it up here.
We kind of talked about that as well a little bit while watching the game. Team Queso, right when they went out, that's when it kind of sparked that question, because they're also currently in that bottom spot. They weren't in the first Super Weekend. Right now, it's not looking too good for the second Super Weekend, Zute. I mean, I even asked you guys, is there any team that went on ahead and qualified just over one Super Weekend? And it seems like the answer is no.
There's a chance if there's multiple other teams that also don't qualify for 2 Super Weekends. What usually happens is it gets staggered out to a point where at most there is only one team that misses 2. So if you're that one team that misses 2, I mean, you're really in a bad spot. But in this case, if Queso also doesn't make it, along with some other teams like the back-to-back misses of Super Weekend, that kind of gives you a little bit of more playing room. But still, one Super Weekend is definitely not a position you want to gamble on, Span.
Definitely not. Well, at least they have 4 more matches to kind of try and get up into that qualifying range, but we're going to throw over to a short break before getting into that next Erangel match. So don't go anywhere, y'all. We'll be right back.
They're going to be holding off the entirety of DRS, pushing in onto this on-time now. Doc has taken place. Arthur is going to be falling on top. This is a very smart play. Oh no! Oh no, Nima!
Oh, you see from behind side here from Yasna Poliana. Nice. They could move closer. They could try to stick together. They find the revive coming from those stereotypical locations.
Yeah, boy.
So we saw these teams drop on by. No, don't do it. Don't save it. The paraglider is okay.
Valor, though, in a position to maybe receive. Yes, open arms, Reggie, in a battle of his own.
Roger that.
Wall does get done. Will get down. Back up.
Help me!
Roger that.
Sarah, in the meantime, has managed to push all the way up. But it's the holdout coming through from the Deadeye's guy, straight through the window. Plants some.
Just starting to make their way outside of Pachinki, which I would argue is a little bit too late. A couple of teams would like to go around. Helicopter! Extended more, and I'm sure others will join in on the mix. If there's ever a time to say, helicopter!
It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He f***ed up.
No!
Yes, Chills, but this will make it big for Semnot if they can get the chicken dinner. Now we're seeing a lot more information here. Yeah, speeding up. What? What? He got it back in! He got it back in! Semnot with chicken dinner!
Hey y'all, welcome back to PMGC West. We're about to go into our second match after that very exciting first Sanhok game. This is going to be our first one on Erangel and Zute Glitter. You guys already kind of talked about expectations going into this next Erangel match, but kind of a little bit more on top of it, we already know that these are our teams about to actually go into this. There's some teams that are missing coming into this that could go on ahead and kind of give us a little bit of a different expectation on who's going to win this one.
Group B is going to be sitting out for this one, but I think the teams that we really need to keep an eye on will be playing this one. We talked about it, right? Team XSET coming out from Group A, Team Queso from Group D. Queso was looking good in Sanhok. The Cavs were talking about like they have a spidey sense, you know, that trap didn't work out for them. And then they had another 2 players trapped further down the bridge, and then Queso, in a blink of an eye, just like disappeared. And Spec and Tixie coming in here, these were the last few players alive on that Sanhok match. Both players, almost 1,000 damage, Glitter.
Yeah, the Specs numbers are crazy when you take into consideration that I'm pretty sure a lot of that damage came in by himself right at the end onto Besiktas when he was trying to just get as many more points on the board for Ghost as he could. But 63% team contribution. That I feel like that has to be one of the highest percentages we've seen so far. That's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Because that team contribution, it does take into account, of course, team's points earned by a player, like as well as like the total survive time. So Spec was the last one alive for his team for the longest amount of time. So him going on ahead and getting 63%, that is an absolutely disgustingly high number. But based off of being able to actually see it at the end there, it kind of makes sense, Sute.
Yeah, now we're looking at the most knockouts. 6, 5, and 4, but the most impressive is the 4 on Frozen, because we saw that 1v4 come out. And of course, I mean, Spec, you know, massively good job by him. Towards the end, Navi won the game, but Frozen, he gets my spotlight for this one, because, man, he just absolutely handled the Furious Gaming team. And the casters are even asking, like, is he going to get help? And then Dave, or I believe Jukes, was like, does he even need help? And he just popped off.
I mean, I feel like we haven't seen a 1v4 in a long time either, and that one was so clean. Zero, you could see that it was just confident choices, the push up when he needed to push after he was able to clear out one of the players, and just continued taking out Furious Gaming. They did not know what to do in order to stop him.
We were kind of questioning it ourselves. We were just like, wait, did he just get... Wait, like, we were even kind of like taking a look at it, like, no way is he about to get all 4. But yeah, unfortunately for Furious Gaming, they just kept throwing one person by one person into Frozen, and that just went on ahead and ended it. But I mean, going into this next one, hopefully that won't happen again next year. You obviously will want to go ahead and grab that, because Ute, if I'm not mistaken, they're not too far up on that leaderboard themselves, so it seems like they have to continue to kind of do plays like that.
I think the momentum coming off the backs of Frozen might really help them. Like, it's when a player pops off, they make a certain play that does add that fuel to the fire, so to say, for a team, and the team gets hyped. The team hopefully, right, plays a little bit more on point. From my experience, usually though, when someone pops off, everyone's feeling good, right? These are your teammates. These are guys you practice with for like a duration of like maybe a year plus now leading into the PMGC. So we'll just have to see how well they do the rest of the day, Glitter.
Yeah, I mean, you know, only time will tell. I feel like Erangel might settle things out a little bit, but the fact that we have the more Sanhok matches today, it's just, I feel like it's just going to get crazier.
I'm excited for the next Sanhok match as well, just because we know that A7's going to be back in it. But I keep getting ahead of ourselves for this one. First, we've got to wait to see if A7's going to be able to kind of go on ahead and pull one of those big wins in on Erangel. I mean, kind of what's the difference kind of for Sanhok coming to Erangel that you think that they're taking advantage of?
Ooh, so for A7, they got Sanhok on lock. I think for Erangel, their main focus is just like fine-tuning their rotations, right? I remember watching A7 play in PMPL Americas when Navi wasn't in the lobby, and I remember distinctively pretty well what their rotation pathings were like. I mean, this was the #1 team coming out of America, so a lot of our eyes were looking at them. And one thing I 100% noticed, right, coming into the PMGC stages, they've been altering their rotations a little bit due to Navi, but they've still been doing really well. So I think the main difference for Alpha 7 is they're going to use Erangel as more as a continual training ground to just figure out exactly how best to maximize their rotations and maximize their points.
Okay, and then on Sanhok is when they're just gonna go like absolutely insane and just kill everything. They'll just win. Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's see if they're gonna use the training grounds. Maybe they'll win in Erangel as well. Otherwise, we will have to wait one more match until we get to see them absolutely dominate on Sanhok again. But Erangel, our second match of today, once again, Hot Jukes and Mustache Dave.
Let's go. Let's get it. Game number 2 here. The last day of this week's league play. Dave.
Yeah.
Saw some plays in the last one.
We did.
You want to see anything similar here coming up?
No.
Ooh.
We used it all. We used it all. Sure. Yeah, it's not Sanhok. We used it all. And not only that, there's going to be a lot of teams here really, really trying to play sweaty for these placement points. And I'm looking at Unicorns of Love, Rise, hashtag go Rise in the chat, Mad Bulls, Team Queso. So talking to Mad Bulls, I said, how you guys feeling today? They said, we're great, Dave. We are feeling pretty good. The thing is, they're not going to feel pretty good if they continue to get these 0.1 point games and not qualify for Super Weekend number 2.
Oh man, if that happens, I guarantee you they're gonna be insanely depressed. I mean, that is something that's literally the worst thing that could possibly happen for you at this point. You got to make it into every single Super Weekend. Now, number one, of the money that you're gonna be missing out on, the possibility of not even making it into the finals, that's just too tough to bear.
Yeah. Fortunate for Besiktas, last game pretty solid. One of these teams that really need to make sure to get as many points as possible in qualifying. Here's another team, Team Queso. Kind of struggling out here. The Bison, though, trying to take some long-range shots on a Silas, still in the parachute out there. Looks like Silas able to go unharmed. But it is going to be alerting S2G, like, okay, we got a team back there. Maybe we can get some loot real quick and, hey, go show them what's up.
Man, they just stole every single vehicle in this area, too. So that's going to be tough for Team Queso. So, you know, S2G just getting in those vehicles, can be driving around, trying to find some, you know, find some loot early on. A little too close for comfort, though. I mean, you got to be careful there. I mean, Team Queso trying to get those shots out of a parachute with a Bison, that's tough. That's tough. But you got to go for it. Got to go for it. Because if he did hit it, that would have been huge.
They're getting ready for when we bring back for Kendi in comp. That's what's going on right here. You got to get your reps in with the Bison. Yeah, my favorite map. My favorite map, you know that. For Kendi, man. Come on.
Dude, I miss the water circles. I miss the water circles.
Oh, so about what, 40 to 50% every time?
Love it.
Love it. Talk about loving it, though. We got the Black Dragons and Mad Bulls, that team that I talked about, how they're in a pretty good mood. They're down there in military base, the island, and circle number 1 does not favor the island down there. And I'm kind of looking around. You got Team Queso on the west bridge and Exet on the east bridge. So very curious how these teams are going to kind of deal with circle number 1.
Likewise, I mean, the circle is pretty dead center, but then all these teams, I mean, but where are these squads going to opt to set up? Because we're starting to see some different kind of drop locations, I think, than normal. I mean, especially, you know, you got S2G, they're looting the entire side of ruins. They're going to be able to get looted up pretty well. The rotation on inwards, that is where I'm going to be looking towards. So quite a few squads, like you mentioned, over there in military base. So Mad Dog's got to be careful that Team Queso don't try to bridge camp them. I doubt they will, though.
You think so?
I don't think Team Queso. It's just too...
I don't think...
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead.
You go ahead, Duke.
You go ahead, dude. You know what
happened?
I think Team Queso. I think Team Queso is going to let Mad Bulls go ahead, all right?
Oh, man. We're not going to make it out here, dude. So, well, it's a good day. It is
That's a fact.
Sunday. You know,
yes. I mean, I think after that Sanhok match, you know, you just want more. And the fact that knowing that we're still going to get 2 more today, it's just too much. It's just too much to handle. Too much Sanhok. I mean, but
my brain. Okay, so let me talk about Team Queso. Let's get back onto it, okay? Because the Lasagna liaison, hooked it up with some intel. When I asked Team Queso what the game plan is here today, and they said the game plan is the same. We want to play smart and use any chance to get points to qualify. So, Jukes, to add on to your story, you said you don't think Team Queso are going to bridge camp. But by that statement that they made today, I think a bridge camp is exactly what they might do. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's up for grabs because it's still so early in this zone. But just seeing their split right now, it just doesn't look likely. It doesn't look likely. I wouldn't hate to see it. Just setting up kind of pretty, try to be able to steal a couple points away. But at this point, I think that they, just knowing Team Queso and their play style, I think we're going to see them play a little bit smarter and try to go for early positioning rather than trying to get gatekeep done. I think that's what they have to do at the end of the day. Just try and survive because those placement points lasting towards the end, they're big. They're big. You don't want to lose a couple members early.
That's a fact. And we saw how that was able to really propel Ghost Gaming last game, right? Who were dead last coming into today. So you make a great point. You know, I cannot argue that. I'm just stating the facts. Team Queso, they want to get these early kills and talk about getting these early kills. Yeah, kill switch getting taken out here. That's going to be a huge drawback for Exet.
And that's Fenerbahce coming over here. Polo's going to be able to secure at least 1 kill just in case. Is he going to try to pop in the vehicle? Nope, he wants some more. He's going to go for this 1v1. Nice little pre-fire. Get some good damage on there. Gun switch to the Scar. More pre-fire action. Coming back and forth, and he's got him on the run. Polo taking out 2. Looking good. He's mad.
Ooh. That's how you know you want that revenge. But look at this. The third party from behind. Aton trying to get involved because this isn't Milto. We got about 3 teams all on top of each other. Now the Dukin machine, it's up to them to come out on top here. They're trying to get the thirst onto Jay, but J7 making sure, nah, that ain't gonna happen. So I don't think they won that
Fenerbahce done. Yeah, Fenerbahce done and dusted. J7 had to get that kill just a little bit earlier to save his brother there. Does end up going down, though, at that same time. So now Aton's coming in, throwing in all kinds of grenades. They don't want none of this Polo action. Looks like they are going to wait for the rest of their team to send this, as Asa just kind of takes his time. Yep, and here they are. Here comes the squad. Polo with the pre-nades, trying to make something happen. J7 way too far to get an off-angle play, I think. So it's going to be up to Polo to make something magical happen, and it ain't looking likely.
3v1. Polo does get the post-mortem grenade, but they should be able to get that pickup. And now J7 kind of on that retreat mode right here, trying to pull back into Milton. Wouldn't be surprised if we see them wrap around all the way towards that northeast and kind of just try to remain underneath the radar. A lot of action going on over here, actually. So Aton, they third-partied XZ after XZ. We're taking shots on Fibonacci, and now Unicorns of Love coming in to play down here from their Nova position, looking to get involved.
They were crossing the bridge around the same time that fight happened, at least towards the end of it. So they definitely are aware of Aton's presence. So they're just slowly creeping up, not trying to give away their position just yet. Look at this. The Knights losing 2 on their rotation. Coops and Alucard are down. You see Chico and Xenox in OP dip. Are they going to go and try to defend this? Doesn't look like it's like, yeah, they're going to just try and take off and try to survive for now, as they're going to lose 2 on that rotation, just like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a little west of Shelter, and both these teams, there's pretty much nobody near them, so they could definitely take this early game fight here. SMB, they look like they were coming out on top, but I still see 2 of those squad mates in their vehicles trying to group up and provide support here. See Xenox tossing a smoke and getting that grenade ready. They are prepared for this defend here.
Yeah, Supermassive Blade, they're on the hunt. They're on the hunt. They know that they got 2 down. They're just looking for the other 2 to pick up these early kills. And they have enough time to do it, but they're going to have to execute on it quickly, because the longer that you wait and you delay this fight, the bigger the opportunity you are to get third-partied. Chico, very aware of their presence. I'm surprised to see Supermassive Blaze playing this kind of so slow, just trying to set it up, going for another knock. They know it's 4v2. At this point, you got to play a little bit more aggressive, I think, this early on.
I think it's a little bit of those nerves, right? They're trying to make sure to qualify, but I believe they have a lot of points already at the top from yesterday's performance. So I'm kind of with you right there. I would like to see them kind of practice their execution here a little better and not take so much time here, because I do believe Unicorns of Love and Aton are going to start rotating around the general area here very shortly. So we'll see how that plays a factor as Tron. Look for the headshots out here.
For those scopes. And yeah, I mean, at this point, they're lucked out that this fight has been taking so long. But like you mentioned, Unicorns of Love, Aton, they're going to start crossing this area very closely. And the longer that this fight delays, the more shots, nades are thrown out, the more attention they're going to be sending their way. And you can hear Aton up top. I guarantee you, they're going to stop and look down this if they hear anything. But it looks like they do rotate a little further out around this fight, as Supermassive Blaze just kind of taking their time, looking for another entry knock on this 4v2.
Blocking a lot of sightlines too, I believe, from the Knights.
Beautiful nade.
Smokes, but Tron pulling up, getting a nice little grenade into the closet. Now it's up to Chico and their barrel to defend the stairs.
Chico got 1. He's going to go for another pre-fire, just switch to FPP. Going to go through another pre-nade there, try to be able to get some a little bit more space, a little bit more time. But the longer this goes on, the more that Supermassive Blade's going to get a full reset. So Chico's going to have to make something magical happen, unless Aton comes and helps him out from outside.
They're moving.
Yep, here goes. That's some shots from the outside for sure. See Chico is just still just holding this, just trying to survive as long as he can. 0 points so far. Here they come forward, 1v2, and that's going to be it for them. But now, look what they've done. They've waited so long for this fight. They are completely surrounded unless Aton decides to give it up on them and rotate away and give this one for free.
It's almost as if we've been doing this for a while now, Hot Jukes, because you got Aton down there towards the south, and then Unicorns of Love also to the north of SMB. SMB taking a ton of time to get the flush on the duo of the Knights, really risking a lot here. So we'll keep tabs on them as we're going to get a nice little view of everybody else here. Next zone's going to close here very shortly. You got S2G, you got Ghost Gaming, and I would even say a little bit of Rise, just kind of dead center, just kind of chilling, big chilling right now. You know, this is as center as it gets in the zone.
Oh yeah, dead center of Rozhawk. They're hoping the zone goes at least to one side of this little split here because it goes north. It goes north. So looking at this now, Na'Vi are sitting pretty. Alpha 7 gets super blessed, and you can see Swaggin just immediately just driving back to the rest of his team to get set up for the rest of this game here. They are all lucky at the fact that this zone at least went into one side. So now they don't have to worry about that split between the water of going north or south. Ghost and the rest of these teams, though, instant on the rotation, trying to take up all the real estate they can.
You gotta love it. Like Ghost Gaming, the circle pops, all of them in cars, already moving, not trying to risk it. Like they're pros, of course. You know, they are veterans here, so they know what to do, and they're looking for that off-center position right now. I'm really curious though. Na'Vi and A7, these two teams always kind of going back and forth, kind of poking at each other. A lot on Erangel too, by the way. With this next circle shift, Na'Vi has to be aware, like, okay, A7, they're probably somewhere on the edge. They're probably near us. I'm really curious, do Na'Vi look to investigate? Do Na'Vi look to push out and take this fight with A7? Or do they kind of just be like, okay, we know they're in the area, let's just let it be for the time being?
I'll tell you one thing. Getting too close to Alpha 7, you're going to have no choice. At that point, you're just defending yourself because if you get too close to that bear, they're going to start shooting. You can just see Carrillo running up quick on his feet, trying to get some shots. And those are going to be some warning shots, I think, for Na'Vi. And they're going to make the rotation away from this one. I mean, we've seen this strategy just used constantly. Once that zone hard shifts, hugging that blue zone, going to that hard shift side. But it's so crazy to see so many teams employ the exact same strategy.
And the thing is, I'm almost kind of favoring staying down in the south towards Rozhawk right now because a lot of teams, I see Yasnaya, there's about 4 to 5 teams that just rotated through Yasnaya. But Ayala, Team Queso in the front lines looking to take the fight. Carrillo going for that jump shot, taken down from that off angle.
Rest of Team Queso going to try to get this reset going and try and take out the rest of Alpha 7. Na'Vi still there nearby as well. And here they go, Matic catching one of the members from Team Queso as they try to get these reses off. Gonna steal one kill from them. Alpha 7 really, really hurting this one. Swaggin and Revo being the only ones up left. Supermassive Blaze on the rotation. Aton Esports been making a whole bunch of noise. They've got 5 kills so far. Choco got the same rock that we saw in Sanhok on the last one that did well for Frozen and is doing well for him here.
Aton, I really do appreciate their extra aggression here in this game. This team not really making too many moves last week, and I think they recognize, okay, we need to improve in certain areas. And 7 kills, about 15 minutes into the game, 7 kills, that's almost a 4th place finish, Hot Jukes.
Beautifully done. You can see Choco is right now, he's just pre-firing, trying to get a little bit of breathing room so they can try to pick up their teammate. And Cardi's going to full send it on in, throw a beautiful smoke here, and it looks like they may, in fact, just be able to get this reset. So Aton just playing this perfectly here. They do have to get this up quick, though, because they are on the edge of the circle. They only have 30 seconds left.
Now we're checking back in with the Team Queso squad as looks like they're slowly getting sandwiched by A7 and Na'Vi. The shots are getting traded back and forth. EM249, of course, a weapon of choice when you do have to spray down a vehicle. And ooh, there goes Xset.
And there goes Supermassive Blaze. Aton taking them out. Choco is quite a ways away. I think that they're going to completely give it up because he knows it's This is a 0 time left on this circle, and it's starting to close. Zone number 4 closing on down. Team Queso taking up their loot and starting moving on to the next circle as well. And this one's going to be a tough one. There's a lot of open terrain in this. You can see that they got all those vehicles looking to set up those car walls, but they don't want to lose those cars just yet. Oh, well, they lost one.
They lost one. Yes, they did. And, well, let's see. Are they going to lose another here? Because they got the duo from Na'Vi trying to take some shots right on top of them. And it looks like A7 using that window to go a little more towards the north, as we can see right there on that mini map. And I think that's a smart play. Avoid that cluster down there between Na'Vi and Team Queso here.
I think that's what makes Alpha up. Yeah, that's what makes them so good, is that they have the ability to know of when to turn on the aggression and when to go passive. And, as a duo left in their position, time to kind of just cool things down a little bit, try to play a little bit more elusive. They did get one knocked, but it looks like Swaggin will be able to get the res off.
And that's huge, right? Just
their
ability to recognize, hey, we don't have the advantage in the situation. Let's not take the fight. We know A7, they got the gun skills, but they also got the brain to back it up, because this is a game of consistency, and you want both kill points and placement points. You need them both to be at the top here, Hot Jukes.
And you can't really play just one play style. You can't play ultra passive. You can't play ultra aggressive. You have to have that switch, turn it on, to passive, turn it on to aggression at a moment's notice. And you can see the top squads, how quick they're able to do so as a full 4-man team. Na'Vi, nice bounce back. They had a great, they got the chicken dinner in the first one. They've got 5 kills so far in this one. They are only down to 2 players, but still, this is some big points for them. And Ghost still trying to make some noise as well.
Yeah,
nice turn for Reeson.
Reeson, AKM, drop shot. Besiktas, last game, dude, since the drop, they were taking the fight, but now they're going to be forced to fight S2G, one of the strongest teams in the lobby.
Oh, S2G's coming up the mountain, and you can see Silas already punching the grass. He's ready to get started here, trying to catch that third party, but it's taking a little bit longer than they expected. The Black Dragons get some nice shots onto Besiktas, and then S2G Silas going to steal a quick little point and run back to his team. I got him, guys. I got him.
I got him, guys. I like it, though, because they do have the compound, the hard cover, right? And it's right there on the edge of the zone, and there's still 12 teams alive. If they get taken out right here with no kills, that's only 1 placement point. So kind of adding on to that story that we were talking a little bit earlier on, knowing when to turn on the aggression and turn off the aggression is what set these big teams, the best teams in the lobby, apart from the others who just YOLO send every single thing they see.
Can't do that, and I love that, because you saw Silas, who was pushed up. He was looking to get in the action, stole a kill. The second that happened, though, the zone shifted. He realized it was on them. You know what? This open field, I can't stand it anymore. People are going to be coming this way any second. Let me run back to my squad, set up here at this compound, and get ready for the next fight. Beautifully done. Quick decisions made. Next zone is a little off-center here, Dave. What sticks out to you?
I'm just kind of still on the S2G, because I think that was a smart pullback, because now they might have an opportunity to gatekeep Rise, who down in the south trying to make their way on in. So everything adds up, Hot Jukes, at the end of the day. So I'll keep my eyes on S2G. But of course, Na'Vi and A7. Dude, these two teams constantly battling each other almost every single game.
And I wonder at this point, once they get a thirst on each other, if they just get a little extra sweaty, try to take each other out because of all that action they are constantly seeing between each other. And, Carrillo started off there with a nade in Navi's direction. We are moving on over to another fight, though, as we see Black Dragons just kind of laying out. This is what it looks like so far. S2G have a beautiful little compound right here on the south side, and they are hoping the zone goes to them.
And then look at the terrain. Just bare.
Open field.
Ghost Gaming with 4 over here on that east side. Nothing but sight lines. They can third party for days right now. Now they're not in the zone, so we got to keep note of that. But they do have 4 vehicles to work with, and Ghost Gaming, one of the best teams, in my opinion, Hot Jukes, of building their own cover with their cars.
And they have such a great execution of timing. And they know that if we push into this circle right now, it's over with. Let's wait for a couple players, a couple teams to push up first. Then we'll go and take them out. And then we'll go and move up in there. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Beautifully timed.
Look at that. using these vehicles as cover, like clockwork. Let's see what they can do. 4 kills. I think their performance last game, or should I say Specs' performance last game, they get them 12 points and place some points at second place. Definitely relieve some pressure that they were feeling coming into today. And now we're kind of seeing Ghost play their game here, Hot Jukes.
I'll tell you what, if this zone does go, and it does, I'm about to say, if it does go on over to the east side, I think we're going to see Ghost win this one. I mean, they are in a really good spot. They're playing well together. They have all 4 up. Well, if they do lose one, it looks like one is knocked. As you see that side of the fight here. On this side, though, S2G, they're going to have to start pushing up north side on this. 26 seconds left on the clock. They have to push now.
Yeah, they have to push now. And to kind of add on to your Ghost point, I want to see them third party these teams down here. They need to, because you got Besiktas, you got S2G, you got Rise, and even a solo from Aton down there in the south, who I guarantee you they're going to be looking to possibly rotate on that east side where Ghosts are hanging out on.
And you know that they're going to start coming here, but Ghost going to do a good job at just holding it down. Na'Vi and Alpha 7. This is a battle we see constantly back and forth, but there's fights going all over the place. S2G trying to do the run over, but gets caught from the other side. Rise goes down. 8 squads remaining. There's Ghost. 6 kills to their name. Looking in this direction, looking at all sides. They're going to have to start climbing up this hill and try to catch a third party, but they're trying to play it very, very carefully. They're going to run up on this S2G fight.
And look at the kill feed. Ghost doing exactly that, getting that third party in before making that push. S2G in those smokes, about to get sandwiched here. Besiktas right on top of them. A trio. Gonna be snaking out. I'm a sneaky snake right here. We're down to 6 teams, Hot Jukes.
6 teams remaining. Anything can happen. You can see Ghost just using every single smoke they have, starting to smoke up into this vehicle. They don't have any, I'm sorry, they don't have any vehicles left, so they can't create that cover that we see them do so often. So they're gonna have to leave it to the Snokes and the Snake play, sneaky, and try to get up into this next circle. Yeah, sneaky Snake, get up this fight going.
Sneaky Snake. Oh, okay. Spec actually gonna be diving into the blue just a little bit to pick up that buggy. Getting chunked out pretty low. But SCG, look at these smokes. Yeah, look at Tensa just peeking over from the smokes, using that soft cover to keep them hidden. Nice little trade right there. I'm surprised Besiktas, they're really not doing much. They're just kind of watching the action unfold in front of them.
With how many smokes that are on S2G, Ghost needs to start turning up the aggression. They got to play this hard. They want to be able to assert their dominance. Here's that presence. That's a beautiful nade, though, in between almost all of them. Does a little bit of damage. Silas goes down with the finish from Bayo with that beautiful nade. And finally, S2G gets eliminated. Still sticking around into the top 5 regardless. Such a consistent squad.
Yeah, pretty solid game for them. And now back to Ghost as they make their push up this slope, this hill. Besiktas snaking it right here. Bayo going for that mow down, that spray down in the grass. And look at this. I mean, talk about leapfrogging. Throwing smokes, dipping in the grass, taking shots. Throwing smokes, dipping in the grass, taking shots. That is what Ghosts have been doing. And now they're setting 2 up with the buggy. They get ultra close.
Too close for comfort. Baluk Chapdad gets caught as they're trying to go on the opposite direction. Up on the top side towards the right of this map, this circle. Ghost taking out Besiktas. So they have dominated this side of the map, and Ghost didn't get the circle here. They are pushing up further and further. And now it's time for them to challenge the mountaintop, the Mount Goats that are Alpha 7.
And they do get the next circle shift, so they could all hit the grass, boost up, reset, catch their breath here just a little bit, and really get away of the land, right? Kind of pinpoint exactly where they predict these enemies to be.
Look at Revo, man. I mean, just these beautiful shots there with that lay down. Carrillo applying the pressure on Balucha. It gets them all down and dusted out the vehicle. Where are you going? Said Carrillo.
They're going back to the lobby. That's where they're going. They're going to the lobby with the third place finish, 10 points. So solid for them. Very interesting play right there, though. They sent in that vehicle late game. I don't know. But we're down to this. A7 Ghost, Hot Jukes.
Bayo getting a nice, beautiful knock there. You can see Alpha 7 thinking about using that vehicle, but you got to be careful. Ghosts have just executed this beautifully. Full 4-man up. This is where they play their straight. Oh, that... McLaren got moved over a little bit to the side there. Carrillo with a nice nade on the Tensa. That's going to even things up just a little bit. But it looks like Spec will go for that res. He's got to be careful for another nade, not to go in his direction. HH with that off angle could definitely catch him slipping. But right now, it's a full stalemate. Ghost is smart. They're not going to take any risks. They're going to go for this full reset, and then go from there. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I think Bayo is doing a good job up here on the high ground as well to kind of keep the attention of the duo from A7. We saw him toss out some grenades, we saw him toss out some mollies, and that kind of allowed HH to get behind this tree and really look for that surprise factor, in my opinion.
Let me be clear. This is Ghost's game to win. They should win this 100% of the time. Alpha 7, though, Carrillo, can definitely make some plays. So Ghost cannot throw here. If they do lose to Alpha 7 in this fight, this would be insanely demoralizing for this team. So gotta play it careful. You can see even Tensa taking that bush, not taking any chances. Normally we'd see Ghost just stand up and just assert dominance here. But no, there's way too much on the line. They want this chicken dinner.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for at least a knock here, probably, before standing up and making this push, and they recognize the importance of this chicken dinner. This one chicken dinner will definitely set them up to play in this super weekend coming up here. So we see them playing ultra passive here, trying not to make any mistakes.
Mistakes indeed. The snakes just moving up closer and closer. Spec leading the charge just a little bit. And you can see Alpha 7, they're taking just both sides, completely split up. Carrillo is staying away from that vehicle because he doesn't want to give away his position, because a lot of people would just automatically assume that someone's behind that car. So he's playing a little bit, a little bit safe here. HH just stand up, they catch Swaggin. So now it's just Carrillo left. Now you're gonna see Ghost get extra aggressive, knowing that there's only one. Full send, full push. Carrillo stands up and goes down. Ghost gaming. Chicken dinner, baby. Who doubted? Who doubted? Huh?
I don't think anybody doubted it. It was a 4v2. I don't think anybody doubted Hot Jukes. Relax, dude. But I agree. I'm hyped as well because Ghost Gaming today, Hot Jukes, 6 points. That's all they had. 6 points. We saw last game, Spec was able to get that very clutch second place finish. And now this game, 15 points for the winner chicken dinner. But not only did they get the chicken dinner, they had a ton of kills, Hot Jukes. A ton.
I mean, I think now when they realize that they're safe, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to that, all right, let's just relax and then see what happens towards the super weekend. I mean, it's so crazy to see that, we were worried. I was, to see it go so low that we're going to see top squads, gatekeep them, camp them out. They said, we're going to get 2 finishes. Really nice to start things off here as we jump on into the highlight reel to see some of the best plays from the last match.
Highlights. So I wasn't worried about them getting that chicken dinner right there, but I was worried about them qualifying coming into today. So I'm gonna lay that out. But now, definitely not. So I'm very curious to see what they do moving forward, right? Because now you have to assume they're really safe up there in that top 16. No real pressure. Will they be the team now to gatekeep these squads at the bottom who have been just struggling so far in the first 2 matches? That's the real question of me.
That's a good one. Good point there. I mean, you can't go and just talk trash to a squad like that, because once they start doing well, now you got to worry for them in the first place. And this last circle was just crazy. I mean, this terrain, no cover anywhere, just nothing but just trees and grass. You can just see the use of utility was so oh, baby! Evo with a nice headshot there. Oh! It's not that Car 98. You'll love to see it.
What do we call that? The pow pow. The one-time dirt nap. We're bringing it back. The pow pow, baby.
Pow pow.
That's the pow pow. And look at this, still giving the pow pows out here with the spray down from the M4. This, Luke, what's going on?
Jeez.
We gotta have a chat. We gotta sit down. What was that? They had 4 up too at that point, didn't they?
Those
they had the
Koenigs eggs are fast, but they're not Carrillo fast. This guy, I mean, these squads, these players, if you try to drive past them, they are popping you out the vehicle every time. And I think that's a little bit of revenge, because Coops did the exact same thing to them yesterday. The whole squad tried to, from Alpha 7 drive around, and they just went and taught them a nice lesson. So that's going to be it for game number 2. Let's go ahead and take it on over to the desk to wrap things up for this one.
Pow, apparently. But I don't know. It's okay, Sute. It looks like our second match finished on Erangel, and there's a couple of teams that we have to go on ahead and point out once again. I mean, Besiktas and Ghost, both those teams needing to be at the top for the second game in a row.
Ghost just, like the caster said, pow their way to a chicken dinner. Definitely getting a nice feast on there. And going on to the second page, I'm seeing a few teams that didn't do too good that really need to step it up. I'm looking at Mad, Unicorns of Love, Xset. These are the teams that are definitely towards the bottom of the rankings, and they need to pick it up before all their games finish today.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more concerned with Xset as these games go on, because at this point now, they only have one match left for them to get some points on the board here, but Spec, of course, back-to-back incredibly solid performances from Spec, almost 1k damage yet again. I feel like that one elim is just completely not indicative of what happened with this performance, because how do you have almost 1,000 damage and only one elim?
I mean, this is how it goes. Spec or Ghost Gaming, they play as a team, right? Spec last game, they're like, okay, guys, I got a lot of kills already. I'm going to pass some kills over to you guys. So what Spec does is he shoots everyone down to 1 HP, and he's like, yo, Tensa, that guy over there, 1 HP, shoot him. Beowulf, take that one over there. So, I mean, Ghost Gaming, really working as a team right now. And the overalls, looking mighty nice for Ghost Gaming, Span.
Yeah, they went on ahead and jumped all the way up into that 5th place position. That's why I kind of made that noise of excitement there. They jumped up so far just from that one match. I mean, they're the team that we were talking about. There's 2 teams that we need to keep an eye on that usually goes on ahead and jumps up second day. And already Ghost Gaming seems like they've secured their spot. The second team would be Mad Bulls. It looks like they're kind of being the sad Bulls, as Zute keeps calling them, that last place spot. I mean, Zute at this point, the 16 points, it's still possible to get into qualifying range, but definitely more and more difficult at this point.
Yeah, the points not looking as good, but as far as matches played, they still got a couple games left, right? Xset's about to play their last game this coming up match, and a few other teams within that group are also playing their last game. Mad Bull's looking pretty sad, but they got a few games to look more happy, so to say, Span.
More happy. Yeah, a couple more matches. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. They were in the last Super Weekend, so maybe it won't be the end of the world for them. But speaking of happy, y'all can be happy and get some sick loot as long as you go on ahead and launch PUBG Mobile. Vote for your favorite PMGC team and player, and go on ahead and get that nice rewards. Get a voting ticket by logging into the game. Watch live in the Esports Center. Share the voting page. Go on ahead and play PUBG Mobile. Get millions of rewards. Various pink level permanent items only during this PMGC period, including PMGC exclusive treasure boxes. You guys know the deal. All you have to do is watch PMGC live on YouTube or in the in-game Esports Center. Get the PMGC token, redeem it. Go on ahead and get yourself those permanent items in the PUBG Mobile Esports Center. We already talked about the pan and that nice outfit and parachute. Still want that pan very badly myself. But just as a nice recap for you guys, let's take a look at the next matches. So we've had a Navi and a Ghost win so far, y'all. And now we're going into our second Sanhok match of today. I mean, Glitter hits groups A, C, D, and E. This time B is sitting out again. This is the last game that groups A are going to play in.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on Xset, see what they can manage to do here in the last match. Otherwise, it's going to be up to the successes and failures of the teams that are playing those last 2 games. That's what's going to determine whether or not Xset will make it for weekend. But Sanhok, you know, A7's back in the mix. They just had a very strong start for them in that first game, getting a 2nd place up against Ghost, so they're looking pretty good so far.
Looking pretty good. Well, we'll see how they're going to go ahead and perform after the short break once the next Sanhok matches begin. So see y'all shortly.
Already put down, but you can see the zone. Even one tick deleting through that health bar as they continue to move back and forward. But a nade
is the team that is on the edge lines, and S2G has found themselves right in the smack center. Unicorns love getting charged up on by Fenerbahce.
The only now outskirt team still to make it inside, still unsuccessful here is Mad Bulls. Fenerbahce here from one team, taking out another to the 3rd, then to a nade.
Exactly, and another circle as well ships out in the open. Not really a lot of cover to work with. Eastern Stars is the team that is on the edge lines, and S2G has found themselves right in the smack center. Unicorns love getting charged up on by Fenerbahce. A 2-man falling.
On the push, as they come over the hill, the smoke's already put down, but you can see the zone, even one tick, deleting through that health bar as they continue to move further forward. But a nade, that's a double, that's a silencer that you need for Rise to stop the push.
Can almost make out the shoulder of Silas. Silas looking to make some moves. Gary takes some shots. Going to be receiving a lot of the shots from Silas. Silas going to be getting chunked out from Papa Blue. Probably going to go out to Papa Blue, and we're looking at...
And that's more importantly positioned for them to then catch out some massive plays at a later point. Is unfortunately Fenerbahce, they've been spotted by Zeta Texa. Their go-to to be so easily run over, even if it is by S2G.
Exactly, and so Unicorn's love as well is not really far away from Ghost, right below them at 96 points. And look at this, A7 Carrio finds one, twice, second, a one-man army striking again.
S2G, another nade, goes wide, but it's not enough. 1-for-1 trade, it's now all down.
1v1
for himself. It's a 1v1, rightly so. Golden versus Silas as he dips around, but the eyes, they're so strong for Black Dragon. Still those non-first down members giving the information away for Golden as he steps away over the hill.
Oh no, Silas going to be cooking a grenade, going to be tossing a grenade, chunking down just a little bit of Golden, but Golden going for that return out here. And Silas knows Golden probably looking for this pickup, probably looking for this revive. I don't think it's going to be possible. Golden needs to make sure to be locked and loaded, ready to take this engagement. Silas going to be pushing with the UMP, going for that spray down, about 50% HP.
Welcome back, PMGC West. You guys know the deal. About to be going into our third match of today, the official halfway point of today's matches, and of course getting closer and closer to that cutoff time where the teams not in the top 16 are going to be quite sad not going into this next super weekend. But Glitter, I'm going to throw this to you because we're about to be going on to Sanhok, and you specifically are keeping an eye on a team that really could potentially just go huge into this next match.
I really am. Okay, Span, I think that A7 has some really solid potential right now. We're checking out most assists from that last match while we're talking about this. Ghost and Bayo being 1 and 2 there. That's where all of those elims went, Zute. They were all assists for Spec. You called it. He was lining them up and the rest of the team was knocking them down.
Yeah, it's that teamwork. You know, everybody's got to share the wealth, and Spec is sharing it with the rest of his team. Looking at the groups coming in right now, Group A, this is their last game. So XSET looking pretty, you know, scary on whether they're going to qualify or not. Of course, the other group or the other teams like, you know, the Knights, they're looking pretty comfortable. S2G as well. And it's just this Sanhok game, right? It's not the last match of the day, but it being the last match for some of these teams, the pressure's on for them. I might expect them to play a little bit differently, a little more nervous, but Alpha 7 is most likely going to dominate this, or some Brazilian team is likely going to dominate this.
Potentially. I have a feeling that that's at least what somebody over here really wants to have happen or is expecting to happen. Another team, couple teams I feel like we got to make sure, keep an eye on in this last match as well for, well, not last match for Group A, but teams right now towards the bottom, Unicorns of Love, Furious Gaming, Queso, and of course Mad Bulls. Got to see if they're going to kind of do something different in this match as well. But before we do that, got to do a shout out to OnePlus 9 Pro because they have flagship performance and an immersive 120Hz display and HyperTouch technology made specifically for you guys at home. If you guys are gamers, the OnePlus 9 Pro are your best shot to, of course, climb the leaderboard. Those 4 teams that we just said, Unicorns of Love, Furious Gaming, Queso, Mad, not at the top of the leaderboard where they need to be. At least none of those are the teams that this is their last match, but Zute, you're right, it really is XSET kind of there on that, kind of hanging onto the edge there. And didn't this happen last time?
Yeah, and like the last game, we saw XSET get into a really early fight, and the aggression was like, it almost seemed targeted. We don't usually see teams like go all out like that hard early on. So I'm worried XSET might be a little bit targeted here, but we saw like later on in the match, it was just all around, right? Everyone was just fighting and taking fights, and I don't think that's too good for Exit. Usually that would be an advantage for them because they are a strong team that are good at fights, but we haven't really seen that so far. What are your thoughts on that in particular, Glitter?
Yeah, you know, I agree with that. We saw them yesterday trying to really pick up their aggression and push that, and it worked well in the first game of the day, and then it fell off from there. And I feel like now, I don't want to say scared, it just, you're right, like we're typically used to seeing them to have this really solid teamwork, some really standout performances, even from the likes of Polo. That's a player that we've talked about a lot in the past, right?
Yeah.
And we're just not seeing those same moments of greatness that we typically get out of the former champions, like you were saying, Zoo.
And Koops and Polo, they were actually like in contention for MVP at one point, right? It was like all about Koops versus Polo, and now it's like, can Polo even make it to a super weekend? It's been such a big drop off. I personally don't know what has happened between then and now, but whatever it is, they need to like switch it back around ASAP. And when I say ASAP, I mean this game. This
Right
is
now.
you can almost say is the last game, because if they don't do well this game, we might not see them qualify to PMGC at all.
Yeah, they need to have a really good last match today if they're hoping to get to the Super Weekend, because we already talked about at the top of the show, you know, if teams do not get into at least 2 Super Weekends, that's basically not a very strong chance whatsoever to going ahead and get into those grand finals. So at this point, this is kind of the match that's hanging on their shoulders. We have to keep an eye on them, see if they're really going to pull out a great performance. I mean, at least get into the end game where they can get some placement points or even some kill points as well. I mean, luckily we're on Sanhok, because this really is the match where you can go ahead and get a lot of kills. So jumping straight on into that, we're going to go ahead and actually introduce different casters here with Highland Wolf and Necro.
Thank you very much, Spider. We're headed up into game number 3 here, Necro, and the Rumble of the Jungle continues, and it feels like the Jungle Book is hitting hard when it comes to those storylines. A lot of pressure, as we said from the analyst desk already, on Exit, right? This is their last game, Necro. They're only 7 points above that cut-off line. We didn't make it in that first Super Weekend either, so it's all do or die for them in this final game.
Yeah, exactly. This is the final game for a team like Exit, and well, as you mentioned, they're in Group A. That means Group A, this is their final game. If they're not really able to perform in this game, that means they're pretty much going to be sitting out in the second Super Weekend as well, and that's not what you really want. And talking about pressure, Queso as well is one of those teams that is sitting in the bottom 4, and they're also going to be having a lot of pressure. But the good thing for them is that they still have 2 more games to play.
Right, I think Queso are looking a lot happier than the likes of Exit, right, where they got everything on their backs to perform in his final game. But it's actually been also some of these other teams who didn't qualify inside of that first Super Weekend who have been standing head and shoulders above the rest today. I mean, Besiktas, one of those teams who have been consistently at the top of that leaderboard in those first 2 games. And I'm curious to see if they can continue to roll this through, because, of course, they're playing all of these next 3 games. They really stood up in today's matches.
Yeah, definitely. They have really stood up. Yeah, as you mentioned, as you were talking about Ghost Gaming as well, they got themselves that previous chicken dinner, of course. And then even in the game of first game of Sanhok, they were able to do pretty good. We did see Spec pull out some insane plays by himself. But yeah, Ghost overall, they're looking pretty safe, including a team like Besiktas as well. They have stepped up quite huge in today.
Yeah, it's really crucial again to be able to step up, because we were looking at Ghost, right, coming in, not achieving those points that they were looking for. And then now in today, again, looking like a different team. I wish it didn't have to come to this, so Necro, that second day power spike. I wish it could just get the points in on the first and save me my heart palpitations for them.
Oh, man, definitely. Yeah, for sure. But as we were also having a conversation about Team Queso, man, they're all the way down in the bottom 4, and games are really going to be important for a team like Team Queso. And imagine the amount of pressure they're going to be having, right? They haven't really made it in the Super Weekend 1. If they're not really able to make it in the Super Weekend 2 as well, I feel like Exit and Team Queso, they're going to be on the same page when it comes to that mental stage, right? And Exit, they will have to try and overcome it inside this game of Sanhok. Now, if things do go south for a team like Exit, they can always go for those heal battles.
Yeah, I definitely think the healing strategy is something also who we've been looking back through. I think not just again this week, all throughout the entirety of the tournament. I mean, it's a staple of Sanhok, right?
Yeah.
You're looking towards those healing strats. And actually, a team that I'm really adoring here for the healing strat is being Unicorns of Love. I think that they play it the best out of all of these teams. 20 squads that we've seen so far in the PMGC West, they've been consistently arriving on the top. Not so much today, to be fair, but in yesterday and certainly in that super weekend last week, we saw them. That was a major standing point of how they were able to garner their points, not only, as we say, in this week's league play stage to getting into the super weekend, but particularly, of course, in last weekend and that super weekend points that they were able to gather for themselves. I mean, Unicorns of Love, again, one of those top teams coming in. Of course, you have to talk about top teams. And I think S2G, one of these teams who haven't looked on top form when it comes to their second week as much, you could say. They have been slightly overpowered. Yes, maybe not in Arandi's Paradise Resort side by Ghost so much, but certainly in the case of other maps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you compare the performance compared to like Super Weekend, Week 1, yeah, S2G haven't really been performing up to the mark. But again, these are the league days, man. And your main motive here is to just try and qualify up for those Super Weekends. And that's what S2G is exactly trying to do. But I'm going to hold on to my awards because Ghost Gaming, it seems like they're getting charged on by the players of S2G. Timber falls down. The rest of the two players of S2G, Kelsey and Silas, are on half HP. Ghost looking pretty good for now. Tensei is the man who has been falling down. HH24 looking to try and help things out a little bit over here. But look at this. 7 is quite well aware of what HH24 is trying to do here. That Uzi catching a lot of damage. And both 7 is going to be the one to come out on top in that initial engagement.
Yeah, S2G, big win for them, but not quite enough to silence that Beowulf. I think he'll fall eventually. Yes, he will, and there comes kill number 4 for the rest of S2G. Ghost Gaming, unfortunately, taken out so quickly in early on once again. I feel like this is exactly how we play with S2G and Ghost Gaming so many times here, Necro. It feels like we're watching the same game over and over again. When is the time going to come, actually, that Ghost decide to change their mind in their drop spot? Because it's really not been working out for them in Sanhok, and you're losing out on so many matches when it comes to a total amount of points that you can earn throughout all 3 super weekends on just Sanhok alone.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. But again, now these are the league days. Ghost Gaming are pretty much safe. They're in the top 5. They can always go and qualify in the Super Weekend too. They can just sit back, relax, and they can play however the hell they want in the future games as well, right? But now, A7, just like as always, just like their classic strat, they like to go on top of that hill. Just make sure they're holding it down. And if any of their team is just trying to run up on top of them, of course, A7 is going to be having an advantage over that team. Knight is the one pretty much in the clotheslines. They did spot at the players of A7. Took a bit of shots, but nothing really critical happening up till now. H2G looking quite good with all 4 players alive, and look at this Rise. They're on a march.
Rise, they are moving further up, and you can see them moving in towards potentially that 5 versus S2G as they have found Silas Pillar, execute him out even from the start of the game, and now looks like S2G, they're on the flip side of the coin with Ghost were, where they start to lose these players. You see Rise actually all these times again, coming further forward, trying to find those fights, and it has been something S2G have faltered in the past to defend. Right, slightly further though, later to the mark, away this time, heading in from that northern side. So I like this coming through from Rise, however. Yes, they didn't secure the entire squad wipe like we saw in yesterday's game.
Yeah.
But they're certainly still keeping up the surprise factor versus S2G by appearing in different locations around this compound, but also appearing at different times. For S2G, they're not expecting him, and they consistently take a member or more out of S2G's squad.
But I mean, hey, the damage has been done, right? S2G now down to a 3-man squad. And Rise, we do know this team is always that aggressive team that we all eye out for. H2G, though, they're looking pretty good. Early in the game, they have gotten themselves 4 eliminations. They're big chilling, at least inside this game as well. And even on the overall rankings, as I mentioned, they don't need to do anything. They can literally just try and grief some other people's game if they want to. They've already qualified. They have a little bit of safety cushion to play around with. But yeah, Rise now, for now, they have gotten themselves a little bit of a portion of land that they're going to be holding, at least for the late game as well. And this circle is what is really interesting, right? Sanhok, we've been seeing a lot of those top left circles, and I'm really loving it because Na'Vi is the one that have gotten themselves that hilltop control.
Yeah, certainly these toppermost circles. We saw a similar circle, right, in that last game yesterday, where we saw these teams really struggle to overperform in such a harder shift. And actually, when you're looking towards this circle, Na'Vi again looking one of the more dominant teams, coupled by Supermassive Blaze over in their alpha compound, is now can they continue that defense? But we have to hold out, and as we talk about defense here, Necro. Black Dragons, they are up against the edge of Rise, who have appeared inside of their compound. For Squeezing with Malozny looking up on the front line, considering if they'll take this fight or not. A Trigger Discipline, Smart coming out for now, as Rise are 3-1 splits. It's going to be hard enough, though, to push. And I think with Black Dragons, they should be okay for this. They got GC, got Golden on the back end, and this 2-2 split as well coming from them. Fairly strong when it comes to defending for Squeeze and Malozny. Just important that we don't get caught out. We don't over-aggress this, and they stay patient like they are right now, scouting out the positions of Rise, rather.
Yeah, for now, it's a complete stalemate, though. Black Dragon as well, they're not really showing any intentions of being aggressive inside this fight. Same thing goes with the Rise. They're well aware of what Black Dragons are trying to do. So even them, they're just going to be holding that compound for now. As long as a circle takes a complete curveball, it takes a drastic shift, that's when both these teams are going to start to sweat. But on the other hand, teams like Mad Bull, they're also on a struggling phase. So my eyes are definitely going to be out for a team like Mad Bulls, but Sheik does as well. But on the other hand, Fenerbahce, still alive. It seems like they're in an engagement against any kind of teams. But Unicorns of Love, this game is quite important for that team as well. They're on the bottom four. Unicorns of Love need to make sure that each and every single game they're going to be playing in the future lines, it has to be perfection.
Yeah, these, of course, bottom four teams, right? Mad Bulls, Team Queso, Furious Gaming, Unicorns of Love. We're not seeing Furious Gaming, of course, in this match. We'll see them in the final two, but the rest of these three teams, this is their opportunity for them. They're also playing all three of these final games, so we get to see if they can step up, because I think especially a bigger surprise coming out for Mad Bulls. You look towards them again in that last week, right? That massive game they had to get into that super weekend. I think it was something like 18 kills in that one Erangel match we saw. But when it comes to Sanhok being a more dominant match here inside of this second week, it's been definitely a lot of struggle for some of these teams to get acquainted with, particularly, of course, Team Queso, right, who didn't join up in that first super weekend, haven't had the chance to taste of what Sanhok was like with these other squads in particular. And they have struggled for sure, down, of course, at the bottom, 22 points. But my eyes definitely on those who are looking strong. Alpha 7. We heard it on the analyst desk. I mean, they were the victors of a circle like this just yesterday. They wrapped around through that boot camp hillside, and Knights as well, another one of these squads who did the same. They both finished actually very close towards that final mark, but Alpha 7 came out on top, using the side mounted advantage for that high ground, but also taking advantage of teams like Rise, who had already positioned there and had actually become in an unresettable position where he didn't have the vision over Alpha 7 who snuck in.
I mean, hey, take a look at Unicorns Love, though. They're all the way in the bottom in Sami. They're also taking quite a lot of damage from the blue zone. Now, I don't really know they're going to be going for that med strat or not, but the rest of the players would definitely have to try and make it in the zone. Now, the problem with late rotations, we do know what Na'Vi do face as well, is that late rotation means you're not really going to be having a lot of intel to work with. You won't really know where teams have positioned themselves pretty accurately. So there's a higher chance that you might just run into someone's crosser and you might just be easily sprayed down while you're trying to make that rotation. On the other hand, Aton, though, I got to talk about this team. Today, Aton, they have been proving themselves. They have been proven up to the mark. If you talk about aggression from a team like Aton, oh man, it definitely has ramped up.
Yeah, Aton, I definitely think we needed to see this coming through from the first Super Weekend again, Aton not being there. And Aton, of course, having that better performance this week, we should see them inside their first Super Weekend, but certainly going to be about creating that consistent performance. We want to see, can they have those chicken dinners? Can they have that form that we saw them in some of those games in the first Super Weekend? Well, first league stage, let's say, as we go back towards Black Dragons Rise. They're sitting pretty. They're admiring the flowers. They're planting the pots. They're gardening here between each other. And their next door neighbors just saying, look, you can sit here. I'm going to sit here. We're going to wait towards this next zone shift because it's phase 3. It's all about where it goes, guys. It's going to go towards us. The Black Dragons, they're a happier neighbor of the two because they've got their house inside the zone, and the demolition zone of that blue side is going to come in on Rise's home.
Oh, I saw this coming. Bullock running straight into H2G's crosshairs. One man falls down from Bullock. Not really a great outing inside this game so far. They're down to a 3-man squad. Now it's a 3-on-3 situation. H2G, they're quite far away from the rest of the lads. I don't really know why that one individual man was separated out so much from the rest of the pack, and that's why he had to pay the price for it. But H2G, they get themselves this warehouse control for now, and they're probably going to be thinking of keeping it. On the other hand, the circle moves kind of right in the center. Look at this. The circle is still keeping those teams guessing, but the circle is going to be moving in. But still, Na'Vi, I would say, they have the prime positioning in this one. And Xset right below them, oh, they're under a lot of pressure.
I'm actually loving the side of some of these positions right around these bridges. I mean, Besiktas was one up further north, but down towards the south side is Aton in A7 up against each other. And Aton, they'll lose one as there tries to cross between the compound. I think a little bit over-aggressive here is also Team Queso. You can see them rotating. A couple knocks against them too. Will slowly attempt to the third party down as Atom continuing the fight versus Carrillo, but it's going to be Senna Texa who drops, as we said, that third party. Team Queso putting in the work, and there comes the seconds. It's going to be Knights also taking out Carrillo. They're getting bullied, cyber bullied out of this game by every single team around them.
Oh, A7 now getting third partied by Team Knights. This is not really a good outing for a team like A7. They need to try and make it alive, but guess what? Coops find another one. Drevo being taken out. Oh, Knights, they find themselves in a good positioning against a team like A7. Things not really looking good for them. And Aton as well, joining this third-party Team Queso in the front lines. They need to watch out from Aton, because Aton, as I was literally talking about this team, the aggression from this side, this team has been clearly being shown up till now. And Aton, they aren't really going to be shying away from a fight like this. They charge in, use those nades as well to try and flesh out some players from Team Queso. Able to find one. Ayala goes down. This leaves Team Queso with only 3 players alive.
Team Queso, they can defend though. They've got their house, they've got the Shackers. Aton furthering their assault as Team Queso. We put the smokes down, but the nades go in. It creates a little bit of dicey drama here on the side of Aton. Can they find it? No, they won't. It's going to be a nade against them. They're going to lose one. Unicorns of Love. It's a 5th party. It's an absolute brawl in between everyone. As Team Queso will confirm the third away from Aton and reduce him down to a solo player. Kari holds back, hold. And home inside of his shack as we do head back over to Romolozny. We talked about Black Dragons moving further in on that zone, but Mad Bulls, they've spied them. Unfortunately, I think the Dragon, he's about to be skewered by the 8 horns of the Bulls right now, as unfortunately on all sides they find himself surrounded. Rise as well on the opposite end.
Oh yeah, Rise is on the opposite end. As you mentioned, they can always go for that spot sport. They can always go for that third party. Both these teams need to watch out from a team. Rise, not really the best of the position, but again, Mad Bulls, they can try and flip things around. Black Dragons out in the open don't really have a lot of cover to work with, and also they have a huge disadvantage with that low ground they've gotten themselves. But Black Dragons, they're on a run. They aren't really interested in fighting Mad Bulls, but Mad Bulls, they aren't going to shy away from a fight like this. They are looking to challenge it. Nate's being lobbed in from their side, looking to find at least one knock. If they do, that's where the go call will be made. But look at the positioning from the rest of the players of Black Dragon. Golden and GC God all the way in the back, and they have a huge high ground over the players of Mad Bulls.
Team Queso, they're up against Unicorns of Love. I want to talk about the zone because it's dangerous as ever. Is behind who have to hold my tongue here. Team Queso, they're up against Unicorns of Love, as we say. Rolkid's on a wide flank and is fighting on all ends because it's on the opposite end of that Riverside. Xset also taking the fight versus Besiktas. Recent going in a little bit too hard, or may have been caught out of position there, as Xset have found him, have executed him away. Meanwhile, the rest of these teams circling around that Riverside. Of course, the center of his phase 4 zone. Not playing nice here, Necro. It's gone in for the center point amongst between Boot Camp and, of course, the side of Knight Besiktas. As their fight does continue further back. Team Queso going to lose one, and now Ilan moving further forward.
Oh, Lin. And now Landon as well in the front lines. Lin looking to find Landon, but is that going to happen? That's the question. Team Queso and Unicorns of Love. This game is really important for both these teams, as both these teams are in the bottom 4. Team Queso as well, trying their best to make sure that this game is theirs. They're also taking quite a decent amount of damage from the blue zone. That's one of those things that these two teams need to worry about. Exil now looking to charge in forward, looking to get some spray downs. Pre-firing those angles and landing on an off angle. It gets outside the house, looking to find some cheeky shots, but up till now haven't really found any connection. And just like that, Team Queso, they get taken out the game, and Unicorns of Love, they come out on top in that fight, but still the damage has been done. Unicorns of Love, they're not really looking good. Still outside the zone with only 3 players alive, and just, what, Rise as well. Oh, they fall down.
As well. They find a one. I think it was a beautiful fight there for Unicorns of Love as well. You have to keep in mind they all played that perfectly, coming in, jumping out as a full squad. They're actually using their bodies to balance up the damage counters coming through from, of course, the side of Team Queso. Because that zone phase 4 was so heavy, they needed to actually revive coming back off of that. And that's the smart plays you want to see. But on these more slower, emptier fights, Supermassive Blaze, who've not got that luxury, and you can see that A7, they've got the eyes over him. Knights as well, praying as Phase 5 has looked to shift further up north. And it's only going to be towards the bridge. And I think Besiktas, for the 3rd game in a row, this could be a great match for them.
Oh yeah, this definitely can be a great match for Besiktas. As you were also talking about how the performance has been shown from the side of Team Besiktas, they're looking pretty good on the overall rankings, but again, they don't really have that safety cushion to work with. But on the other hand, Knights finding a knock on players with Supermassive Blaze. Keth goes down, Tron's outside in the blue zone, also taking quite a lot of damage. He's trying to tank it, but he's chunking quite a lot of damage, and this is where he will need to try and make it in, because Coops is the man in the front lines, and you want to always watch out from a man like Coops because he barely misses his shots.
Oh, he was a 2-time MVP yesterday. That's how many shots he misses. He misses none there, Necro. When he gets on form, he's, of course, once again on form. 3 kills already for Knights in this first game. I think it's been a more solitary game for these teams. More about positioning right back zone, as we say. It has been so devilish once again, shifting consistently away from these teams. And we talked about Besiktas. Unfortunately, they're reduced down to 1 player since the moment we talked about them. But Na'Vi actually, coming off already 1 big game today, could still secure a second. The Supermassive Blaze, not going to be the case for them. They will fall out, and A7 is all about that pod. And Fishy is inside the water. And unfortunately, it's fire in line for PK Coops.
Oh man, nice. They're going to be racking up a lot of free kills, as you mentioned, in the front. There's so many teams just trying to swim inside the zone. And Knights, they can always just rack up these kills. Senatex taking a lot of damage from the zone. A7 not looking great, with only Senatex left alive, also taking decent bit of damage from the blue zone. He needs to try and survive in this one, and he doesn't have any amount of cover to work with. Ace2G, on the other hand, they're also trying to cross over. Timber has a little cover for himself, but Chico spots him out. Timber's position known. He's being pinned behind that rock. If he moves out, that's going to be it for Timber. He will be taken out of the game, but look at this Bullock. Ilian kid is just out in the water. If a little bit of glimpse also gets spotted by that side, that means Knights are going to be taking Bullock out the game. But just take a look at this. So many teams, man. So many teams are in the water. They want to get on the other side, but that's just not the case. They're not letting that happen. And Timber finally strikes. 2 players of Knight goes down. Coops and Chico out the game now, out the equation. Knights, they have a lot of pressure on their back, especially Xenox.
Knights, I think they're pretty done and dusted here in this 3rd match as Baluk. They're definitely wiped into the water. I think it's not long for the world of Senatexa and also the rest of Mad Fools, Black Dragons. They're all going to fall inside the water. I don't think it's going to be a land place finish for them. As Exet and Na'Vi. It's down to these 2 teams. That's who it's down to, Necro. And there, as we said, Mad Bulls, they can't swim. They're too big. They're big bulls here. And yes, they might be charging strong on land, but they haven't got the wings. They haven't got the gills for the water to avoid it. To Na'Vi, they'll take them down, but Tixie as well. Going to drop one to Exet. We talked about Exet. They needed this big game. 2 kills so far, but they're on the edge of the blue. They do need to continue to move, and they're Jade down. Polo on the edge. They're playing with fire.
Oh, except they don't really have a lot of breathing space to work with. They're being suffocated inside this little house. Jay being taken out. Na'Vi, they're putting a lot of pressure on the players of Exet. And Exet, they really needed this game. They're stepping up when they needed it the most. But again, they still need a couple of more points to keep going in further. But Exet, they are falling down. They're crumbling down. But the reply back is there from the side of Killswitch. He's able to find one more knock, but instantly gets traded by Meku. Na'Vi, they're looking pretty strong inside this one. Exet as well, not really looking that great. They need to make it inside the zone. Jay down quite low. Polo has made his mark in the zone, but he's getting spotted by a lot of players from Na'Vi. They take out Polo as well. That means Exet, they're not looking great. Jay, The only man alive, and J7, it seems like he's going for that heal battle, but not anymore. J7 being found. That's it for a team like Xset, and now Black Dragon's looking to third party this entire situation.
It's all about these third, fourth party solo players alive. Look, we talked about Fenerbahce Unicorns and Love, again, playing the healing strategy as well inside of his zone. But Na'Vi, they're of course still the ones up with 2 players. Very man advantage right now. Kasuni healing back, Meku also alive. Jay has crucially got himself behind a rock. Xset have to survive. This is not enough points for them to be able to secure comfortably. Sitting 2 games out, a win, that'll do it. See you later, Jay. Xset, 5th position. That might be all done for them. Silenced away, potentially from the second weekend. Gotta pray. Hands in the fate of the other teams. It's now back down to Na'Vi. Black Dragons, Unicorns, Love, the final 3.
Oh no, J7 being burnt alive. Now Na'Vi have the man advantage inside this one. Unicorns of Love still going for that heal battle. That's what we were thinking of, and that's what they're exactly going for. Roke is still busy healing himself. Black Dragons, the peak's being made, but Na'Vi is going to be the one to come out on top because the man advantage is clearly looking stronger on their side. And Na'Vi getting another chicken dinner for themselves in the map of Sanhok. A perfect gameplay from their side. I did thought that maybe Na'Vi, they're going to let this slip away, especially when Xset was getting those knockbacks on their side. But in the end, Xset unfortunately just didn't really have a lot of room to work with. And that's what Na'Vi used that to perfection.
Yeah, I think that Na'Vi, they really took control of that zone. You could say that, again, the zone kind of gifted them a bit. They started, of course, that high mountainside, and then they rotated their way down towards Hartin, and were able to control that bridge coming over towards the Northwest Island. But it's actually still props to them for controlling a lot of those teams like Xset coming in also from that Northwest Island, from the south side of it, trying to enter their way into the zone. That control, crucially, while also coupling that with the control of a lot of those teams coming in across that water and keeping that 2 points of pressure controlled. We wanted to see this through from Na'Vi, taking these controls when the zone is given to them. And I think it's a big improvement, considering in the first week, we were questioning their ability to do justice.
Oh man, so many teams are screwed though, right? So as they saw the circle shift on the other side, all of them just started swimming, and those were like easy kills for all the teams, especially Knights. They were able to rack up a lot of kills in that moment. And H2G, Bullock, I don't really know why he was so separated out from the pack. Had to pay the price for it. He went down. Bullock were kind of handicapped after that. And Team Queso, as we were talking about this team as well, this game was really important for Team Queso and even a team like Unicorns of Love. But Unicorns of Love were able to heal battle it out. They got themselves a decent outing in that previous game.
Yeah, I think the Unicorns of Love game, we talked about their proficiency of taking a heal strat battle over to another level of all of these teams. They always find themselves in these zones, and I think it's so crucial that we are picking up these points on Sanhok where it matters. They're doing it time and time again, and it's when can other teams start to play the game that Unicorns of Love are playing, because they're not on the screen, they're not on the camera, but off screen, they're still making these points count. I think it was crucial, of course, that fight versus Team Queso, a big upset for Team Queso to losing out to Unicorns of Love also.
Yeah, exactly. And Supermassive Blaze unfortunately got caught out the zone. Didn't really have a lot of time to work with, not a lot of space to work with as well. Tron was taking a lot of blue zone damage and eventually went down to it. And this is how H2G, they tried their best to make their mark inside the zone, but were just a little too exposed. Kelsey with these 2 crucial knocks on the Knights. I feel like those were 2 game-changing knocks. If Knights weren't being taken out by H2G right there, I feel like Knights had a high chance of winning this entire game.
Yeah, still S2G though, despite the fact that they fell down inside that water, double-digit kills for them, a massive point advantage for them overall. But again, it came down to this final point, right? Xset, they needed to control, they needed to stay quiet, but Polo way too aggressive, continuing to shoot through, and you saw how people were able to then locate their position, how you could see it was so obvious, the way in which they were moving around. Xset escaping from that building gave Polo's position away to the side of Na'Vi with that guesswork, and then they were able to take Polo out. The rest of Xset, they fell down. Na'Vi taking a win.
Xset pray.
Have more from it through. Rightly so. On the analyst's desk, we pray.
But you know, they're not wrong. They're not wrong, Zute and Glitter. Xset at this point, I'm a little bit concerned about Zute. I mean, they were able to go on ahead and be in towards the end zone, but they only came out. I mean, you can see it right here. It's in that 7th place spot.
Yeah, first shout out to Navi real quick. All right, we get it. Brazilian dominance on Sanhok. We're shutting that down today. All right, Navi's coming in and showing that they got what it takes. But yeah, Xset with only 8 points. They had 4 members up towards the very, 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 very late game of Sanhok, and they only managed to pick up 2 elims. I feel like that's due to a combination of them being scared because they're so close to being cut off and not sticking their heads out for those kills, and might just come bite them back in the butt, Glitter.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a rough one here. We're going to have to see what happens in the last 2 games of the day, but here's our MVP from SG. We need the SUG just a little bit here. Zoot, obviously, we got 705, 35% of that team contribution. However, S2G, not only are they moving up in the rankings, but that is now the second time we have watched dominate that in Sanhok.
Oh yeah, I even forgot. Yeah, Ghost Gaming versus S2G. Ghost Gaming set up a trap for S2G, and S2G walked into it from my point of view, and they shut it down. They destroyed Ghost, and now this is the points that I really want to pay attention to. The bottom points table. So Xset at 38 with 8 games finished. Look at everyone around them. 6 matches, 6 matches, 6 matches, 6 matches. This is the same exact thing that happened to Xset last week. And if I'm not mistaken, they were 13th place when they had to wait for the last 2 games. Maybe 14th place, but just not comfortable. Definitely not comfortable position for Xset. And that game was probably one of their easier games, given the fact that the circles did bless them on Sanhok.
Oh man, it's kind of an unfortunate situation because it's just not looking too good for them in Group A, especially since now they're done, as YouTube pointed out. But don't forget, it might be a little bit too late for them to get a little higher up on the leaderboard, but it's not too late for you guys to go on ahead and vote for your favorite teams and, of course, players. So go on ahead and jump into PUBG Mobile, vote for your favorite PMGC team and players, get a voting ticket by logging into the game, and go on ahead and vote. You can get more information in the in-game Esports Center, but basically go play PUBG Mobile and go ahead and get millions of rewards, including a treasure box. It's a PMGC exclusive, y'all. All you have to do is watch PMGC live on YouTube or in the in-game Esports Center, redeem the PMGC token that you get, and you can go on ahead and get yourself some permanent PMGC items. But back to, of course, the situation at hand. Blue Chap 10, Xset, currently done with the matches. There's one team, though, that we have to keep looking out for. That's Team Queso. We will be back to talk a little bit more in depth about that, though, after this break. We'll see you guys shortly.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration and the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Once again, welcome back to PMGC West League. It is week 2 of course, our league play. It is me, Span, Cargo, Zute, and Glitter Explosion. And there's a lot of exciting stuff that's been happening so far in all these matches, but we're back to the very end, y'all. Zute, Group A is no longer playing. That, of course, had Exa and Blue Chabton inside of it.
Yeah, it's
a little bit concerning.
Definitely concerning. There's a few teams towards the bottom, but the main one we're going to pick on is Team Queso, simply because they didn't qualify last week, just like Xset. So it all comes down to kind of if Queso can make it in or not. Of course, we will be missing 4 teams into the Super Weekend, regardless of what happens. But that's what I'm looking forward, or not looking forward to, that's what I'm looking out for the most, Glitter.
Yeah, I mean, we also got to remember keeping our eyes on Besiktas as well, just see which of our teams that didn't make it last time are going to be making their way through this time. As we take a look at the head-to-head tier, more players from S2G, 5 elims, but a little bit different damage, but the exact same amount of team contribution. But I'm still really stuck on the way that S2G outplayed Ghost in those moments. We've been saying that S2G kind of looks like they slowed down a little bit this week, but when we see them in those specific fights, they always look so much cleaner. They always look so confident, and they make it look easy.
Wow, and S2G actually with 10 kills just on those 2 players alone. Who knows how many... Okay, that last Sanhok match, they started in Paradise, and you guys saw where the circle ended. For S2G to pick up that many elims after just wiping the floor with Ghost in the beginning, and then potentially, Black Dragons in the midst to third party them. Like, okay, S2G, they're not in first place dominance overall right now, but the way they're getting these points and the way they're playing, their performance still, in my eyes, is super, super dominant.
I mean, we even saw it in the highlights. They seem to just be picking up so many kills the entire time throughout that entire match, all the way into the end, even when they were forced to be jumping into that water. So yeah, S2G, even in kind of questionable situations, they're able to figure it out, especially that Circle 4 water zone. I didn't know what to expect. That ending was just insane. But Glitter, now we're moving on to Erangel. So I find this a little interesting, right? So first of all, I have to point out that Na'Vi, of course, winning 2 games on Sanhok, and the entire time last week he kept talking about Na'Vi and Alpha 7 and how they're kind of going head-to-head. Alpha 7 won 2 matches on Sanhok yesterday. Today, Na'Vi won 2 matches on Sanhok as well. Going into this next one, though, kind of curious if either of them are going to end up running into each other.
Ooh. I mean, I kind of hope so, Zoo. Don't you? Because we watched how many times they would have that happen on the rotations in Erangel, and now they seem to be kind of battling for the Sanhok dominance here, at least for this portion, this week of league play. So I want more Na'Vi A7 chaos. I'm here for that.
I would be too, but I would like even more for them to just hot drop on each other and just straight up duke it out, because we've seen them run into each other a lot, but it was always towards the later game where there was like a third team kind of in the mist that would just kind of prevent them to full out engage that, a way like a Ghost Gaming S2G can engage. So it's hard to say who's like straight up better, because there's always a lot of other factors that's constantly getting involved, but there's a chance we might not even see that, because both of these teams, it seems like they are just set and confident on doing their own thing, and if they run into each other later, then so be it. But it doesn't look like they're interested at all in just a straight up macho on macho fight.
Honestly, that'd be pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, at this point, I was gonna say in this league play for week 2, it does seem like they're kind of going head-to-head, but nowhere near each other at all. So going into this Erangel match where we usually see them going ahead and fight it out, kind of curious to see if they're gonna be running into each other and kind of, sealing the deal. You're right, Zute. I kind of hope they're just going ahead and just decide to drop at each other, especially since it's league play, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
give us the entertainment. Yeah, give us the entertainment. We'll talk about it like, at the end of the day, you're here for a spotlight, right? You will get our spotlight. You'll get all our eyes if you just go for that 4v4 straight up like that. Everyone's waiting for it still, because we've been talking about it the entire time. But like I said,
too much
might not ever happen. So sad to say, but that's probably the case, Span.
Oh man, I hope it does though. I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity to, but obviously they don't know that. They're gonna go ahead and continue to play the matches as they do, so we'll just have to see. Just based off their normal performance, performances who's going to go ahead and do well into this last Erangel match of today. So as we already kind of said, last Erangel match, second to last match of today. There's a lot hanging on to this, especially for Team Queso. Let's jump right into it.
Oh, tell your parents, like, when I'm working, don't use it or something.
Welcome back, everyone, to the fourth game here. And we are here, Necro, on Erangel this time around for the green rolling hills one more time as we're jumping in as a freaking car. Jumping down, that's some style. I saw rocket skateboards, but that takes it to the next level.
Oh man, here we go. A7 this time, dropping off in Lipovka. Do you realize Northern George Pool is a little out of reach, so maybe going on to your second plan is Lipovka, and maybe that's where you're going to be dropping. But A7, we also saw them drop into Zarki, right? That's kind of like the third plan. That's kind of like if things aren't really working out, that's where they would probably start going.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking towards the southern phase shift, potentially. Could help these teams out, but I mean, I'm more a mean guy than myself. I'm taking my heat coming through from the cool winters of Vikendi. Much love for Vikendi, by the way. Much sadness as well.
We've seen this circle.
I know. I actually am okay with this. I'll hold my hand up. I wanted to see a northern phase shift. I want to see something difficult, but I'm always for a southern island zone. This is exactly what we've seen, and I think the zone is trying to test these teams. I get what it's putting down here, Necro. It wants to see improvement from these squads.
I mean, we literally saw this zone yesterday, and the zone kind of shifted over on north side, right? All the teams try to make the rotation all the way down south, but then zone just threw a complete curveball, shifted up north, and all the teams who were all the way down in south, they were kind of screwed. But now over here, exit out the way, that means there's going to be no one camping the right side of the bridge, Jake. It's completely open. Even if the circle is down south, that means teams will potentially have a free way to move inside unless Fenerbahce or even the team right next to them, which is Eastern Stars, if they make their mark in there.
Yeah, Navi, of course, coming hot off the press of their second chicken dinner today. I mean, this is definitely the Navi that we expected to coming into the PMGC. Didn't get to see coming into the PMGC, but we finally got them now. It just took them a little bit of warming up time. I was skeptical at first, but I mean, you all guys were telling me they just need to warm up. They're just getting their foot warmers on. And then now it's 100 degrees. They're on fire.
Oh, they're definitely on fire. And as we talk about fire, also burnt out a man from Exit in that previous game in the map of Sanhok. So yeah, they're definitely looking pretty good. But on the other hand, Team Queso still in the bottom four, Jake. Queso have a lot of burden on the shoulder. They have a lot of pressure. And I do want to see how they're going to be getting rid of that. This Erangel game is really important.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, of course, right, coming out to these bottom teams, such as Team Queso. You're looking, I think, also towards Furious Gaming, right, coming in from Group B. They were sitting out those previous two games. They've slipped into that relegation space, and now in 19th position, can they continue to assert their way back up? They've got a little bit more work to do. My concern also is on some of these other teams who qualified in that Super Weekend have the best of the results, like Mad Bulls, right? Chaos, Next Roya, also not there inside of that safety space. They have a lot of work themselves. It is very close, to be fair, on this leaderboard. I think now, can these teams be able to find those big games just to push themselves far out of that danger space? Because, as we said, there's only so many points in between it. On the other hand, though, if you're an Exet fan, you're praying that all of these teams, they don't move from their position, right? I mean, Exet, they have done all they can do. I think the rest of these Group A teams, below Chotan, you're looking at, of course, also S2G and Knights. They're pretty safe. They've got themselves up towards that upper end of the leaderboard. Exet, not so much, though. They're about 10 points above the danger threat. And I think it's not enough. I think we might barely get put down. We got to see.
Yeah, exactly. And just the people who are unknown about the fact, why are we talking about Exit so much? The last game was that final game in the second day of League Day. That means Exit, they're currently sitting on 13th position. They're quite vulnerable. There's not really a lot of points difference. If any of the teams from the bottom four, they get a good game for themselves, Exit will be pushed down below them, and we do know Fenerbahce, what they're capable of. So I'm expecting a team like Fenerbahce to at least topple over Exit. That means Exit will probably move down, and even Eastern Stars, we do know what they're capable of. So all the teams that are right below Exit, they're pretty good teams, so you can never rule them out.
Yeah, 14 points to separate Except from the relegation points as far teams, of course, as Zute said, right? We gotta lose 4. We only got tickets for 16, and this train is too small for all of these players. Too expensive. We gotta kick 16 of them out for the Super Weekend. That's what it is, Necro. This train, it only takes so much. It only takes 64. Not an extra 16 on top. I know my maths. I've got my Wolf Dog brain on. I've got my glasses on too. I'm ready. I'm ready to see if it can survive. But I also am looking, speaking of surviving, right? Team Queso in amongst this more western sides. Staying true to form, actually, because they always stay over on this western shift. Very predictable, yes. But it's been working out for them in the past. This is where we have gotten the most success in Erangel. Sticking over towards the bridge, making sure to camp it, particularly in a zone like this, where so many teams, they need to get across that bridge to begin.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Queso, they have the high ground control for themselves. If any other team tries to cross over, for example, Ghost Gaming. But Ghost Gaming, they're quite cautious. They do realize there's high chances that the bridge might just be camped, and while they are quite right about guessing that Ghost, they're going to be just calling it their compound for now. They're just going to be camping on the edge of the zone as well. So Team Queso, they aren't going to be finding any easy knocks onto the players of Ghost. But over here, Supermassive Blaze walking right in front of Eastern Stars. Bazzi is the man kind of separated out. So Supermassive Blaze can always try and charge in forward against Bazzi. But Bazzi, he's on run. He does not want any smoke over there because he's separated out. He does realize he needs to get back to his teammates. Got Bahala now finally close to Bazzi. Bazzi able to retreat back to safety. He's going to be safe for now. But again, look at this. Supermassive Blaze, they find another knock on someone else.
I feel like this is a resurgence of Supermassive Blaze, right? They're getting more aggressive. We're talking about Na'Vi warming up, but Supermassive Blaze, particularly I think Crucera, has been on fire when it comes to this second week. They've also been having that more aggressive playstyle. I think this is something that is working out for Supermassive Blaze as a whole. You can see them playing towards taking these fights. But talking of fights, Ghost, they're 4-manning in on Team Queso.
Oh, what is this? Ghost just stunting their way inside. HS24 quite low, but still able to strike it, and he's quite venomous. But this time, they will be shut down in the nick of time, within a blink of an eye. Ghost Gaming just out the game like that. And I feel like it was just a complete send-it because Ghost knew they're pretty much big chilling on the overall ranking, so you might as well try and go for those stylish plays. But in the end, didn't really work out. So Team Queso got some points gifted for themselves. That's going to be helping them quite a lot to move up from the bottom 4. Oh, Team Queso, you guys are lucky, you got to say that. But now Aton being charged at from A7 to one player being found from the side of Aton. Milos as well is down quite low. A7 looking to try and reply back into this one. Asta is down. Milos going to be able to patch himself back up. Senatexa has a nade cooking up. He wants to confirm the kill, and he will.
Boom goes Dynamite. It's going to be the guns to finish it off. Eat some lead there, A7. Because 87 now on 4 in a 1v1. But Milos, his 1v3. And I don't think they're that quite good just yet. As now Milos steps forward, looks for the fight. Will dodge out an 8 barely. Time almost walks back in onto it. But on the side end, it's even more shots going to be dipped into him. Nade on the side will stop him. Actually, there's going to be a smoke, excuse me.
Oh,
in, but Loco, MVP could be at the fight. Can he wrap around? Yes, they'll fight Milos and Choco. He might wish he didn't go in on this fight because now he's been spotted, but they got 2. Can they find 3? It's a complete disaster for A7 as he went way too far in. And now it's a 1v1. Senatexa trying to confirm the kills. Will do. Remove the vision from Choco past the smoke and utilize it to full effect.
Oh. Here we go, Choco, the final man alive. A lot of eyes on this man. Senatexa trying his best to fight back. He does realize his teammates are bleeding out. He needs to clutch this one as quick as possible. The man's bleeding out. He's quite low. Senatexa is looking to challenge this one, but he's also quite low. Choco taking a lot of chip damage on himself, but finally turns around and slaps him in the face. And A7 out the game now. And Milos is also going to be able to get himself back up. And Choco, coming in clutch in those final moments. And guess what? A7 out the game, and this early off, it's fine. They're looking pretty good. And as I mentioned, the teams that are all the way up on top, they can always go for those silly plays.
Yeah, phase 2 as well. It's going to only be even more silly and stupidly difficult because it's gone still about here. And I'm going to turn on that doggo brain, about 48.77 50% water inside this zone. That's exactly how much percentage it is, Necro. Trust me. That's how difficult it's getting. There's only just above 50% of this game inside of the land. And it's going to be so difficult for these teams. Of course, heading towards that Eastern Bridge, big priority over it. But so many of these teams prioritizing that bridge for those kills, for those quick eliminations. Down to, I think, some of these flanking teams who can actually come out and surprise us a little bit more than Necro, such as Team Queso on that western side, slowly coming in. Rise as well, doing the same. But speaking of Team Queso, I have to hold my breath here because Football is there aggressing onto them, and Team Queso, they might just be in a world of pain as they find a 1v1. Remember, with a beautiful drop shot. Can't find a second. Lutz barely able to keep herself alive. And as the Team Queso, where they were halfway through moving, now get ruined. Half the team gone. 4 kills. Exil in the motorbike. Will he get away? Yes, he will, but he is damaged.
Oh, Exil has taken quite a lot of damage onto himself. Football is able to make that push successfully onto the players of Team K. So Exil, the only man alive, and as you mentioned, he's damaged quite a bit, so he will have to take a stop here, heal himself back up. Landon is just outside the zone. Now he's going to be going for that tanking. But again, as soon as Football is there, they decide to leave this one. I'm pretty sure Landon's going to be striking in. He's looking for Team Queso to be as vulnerable as possible. As soon as they are, he will strike in and get those kills. And do not strike in now, Landon. You do not want to, because his position is really crucial inside this one. If he keeps his calm, if he holds his nerve with the gun, I'm pretty sure Team Queso can flip the table.
I'm not sure Exil knows that the Black Dragons are behind him.
No!
Nami! Oh no! This is it. They just walked into a full nightclub party and they're all dancing their way over the 2 kills, and Nami just bore them. 3 as ever, baby. Unicorns love Mad Bulls. They're going to be ones that steal them away, and the horns of the Unicorns not as quick to the draw, as they will rotate their way through. A Fairy Pier Football is continuing their scope round. Lutz, he's got a high ground though. He's diving through. He's jumping. He's got a parkour skills, man. But he's not noticed Team Queso just yet. Is that so? Oh my almighty. What a shift. There's no one even in it.
Oh, here we go. As I mentioned, Lanny's position was so crucial. And finally, he strikes in at the right moment, but he's also getting shot at from the back now. Hey, guess who is in here? It's Mad Bulls. And well, they're looking pretty happy inside this game. They can try and turn things a lot around and maybe potentially help out Football. It's okay. Oh, he's taking a lot of damage from both these sides. And Landon, again, looking to take a dig on enemy hills. Is he going to be able to do so? But guess what? Another team in here. It's going to be Unicorns Love. It's just party over here.
They got mad. The Mad Bulls stole the kills, and now they've been looking for them. They're spread into the hills all direction. I don't think Mad, they know what to do. Yin Yang's not even over. The bridge, he'll drop 2. The beautiful shots in on roll kills. Secures 2, and now we 3 in total. Mad ruined on the entrance to the bridge.
Look at the circle shift, Jake. Oh my god, it's all the way down south, and it's like 50% of the circle is in the water. Yeah, you don't really have a lot of landmass to work with over here, man. You better start booking it inside the zone as quick as possible. And well, a team, Fenerbahce, they've already made their mark in. Bomb is kind of separated out from the rest of the team, but again, he has found his mark inside the zone. That means the rest of the Fenerbahce team, they don't really need to worry about it because they already have a safe compound to work with. But Fenerbahce now trying to hold off a couple of teams onto the bridge. They're not really able to do so successfully. Duke and Machine finally is trying to retreat back to the rest of his mates, and Rebellion on top of the house. He might just have a lot of intel to work with. Supermassive Blaze against Savian being spotted, took a couple of shots. Nothing really critical up till now, though. Supermassive Blaze found themselves a safe rotation. They are out of harm's way.
Right. A breath as they have to try and recover from the bridge still, like so many other teams. Are they going to be successful? Are they going to be unsuccessful? They're still 1,000 meters from the zone. That is the only fact at the moment. As we go back to the western side, that's where all the action is. We talked about the west side being the best side, and it's footballist. They've got all the action, they've got all the kills, Unicorns of Love. We talked about the Mad Bulls horns, as well as prized possessions, the Unicorns of Love. They sell them for gold, and footballers want all of that money coming in from those kills.
And look at Aton's rotation as well inside the zone. They're moving away from those boats all the way from down south, and they're going to be having themselves a safe rotation alongside with Besiktas. But the fight on the bridge still continues. Unicorns of Love try to cross over, but this time Footballist are the one holding them off. They're making sure Unicorns of Love on really having that easy of a way to cross over. SoulK knows it's a done game for him, so he might as well try and grief someone's game, and Unicorns of Love are the one he's looking forward to grief this time. But GK first is there to try and save the day for Rokus. Is he going to be able to get the res back up onto him? That's the question. And as I mentioned, he knew, SoulK knew, football it's done for them. There's no way they're going to be able to get back out of this from this tricky zone. And look at this, yeah, oh no as well from my side, because the zone is shifting. The zone's shrinking down quite low, and it's not really looking good. Again, 50% of the zone is out in the water. Don't really have a lot of cover to work with.
Oh, this is so dire for so many teams. Blue zone is going to get so many kills. If we can count the kills and points in the blue zone, it's going to at least match a chicken dinner's worth. They're all dropping dead lives to a light. Is at her now. Find a fight versus Supermassive Blaze. They tried to rotate Burr. Stretch out the fight, but they still find them in between each other anyways. Milos will secure one. There's now Supermassive Blaze. Not quite yet, though. Do defend. Finally, it goes down. Tries to buy some time for Crucera. With a nade now, Milos in danger zone with that HP bar. One struck back, but goes short. As they hold back, the revive coming through onto Tron. And then I think they'll go back in once more for this final member. Milos is the only one. Of course, it remains.
Oh, that nade being swallowed by Milos. But again, now he's looking to reply back with another nade from his side. Is this going to connect? No, a little bit overcooked from him. Aton not really looking great in this position. Supermassive Blaze as well, though. They just don't have any cover. But this is where the charge comes in through. Coursera is leading the pack. He's leading the charge. And finally, Aton put down to sleep. They're out the game as well. But Aton, I gotta say, they've been having the best day over here inside the day 2 of League Days. And Na'Vi on the other hand, again, they're replying back to all these teams that are trying to hold them off at bay. But Na'Vi, they aren't a team that's this easy to deal with.
No, I think this zone is not easy at all. You're looking now, can teams try to position further down onto that coastal line? Can you use those small ridges? How much information do you have of this part of the map on those smaller ridges to be able to take advantage of? Because there are some dips they can potentially crucially from these side angles, such as that of Na'Vi rotating in. We're going to pull a sneaky one, though. You can see that Na'Vi, they're looking to cross over behind the cliff side, and that could be the MVP position for them. It is closer to the center of zone, and that is where, of course, the airdrop has landed as well. That'll be their goal. Meanwhile, on that land, though, Black Dragons, also Fenerbahce, that's who they're dodging out from as we return back to the fight. Fight is not towards that eastern side of the zone. Besiktas losing another. As Desi will fall, Nunes will strike the kill out. Is looking for trigger 2, the second one to drop. The shots are true, but it's not enough.
I'm pretty sure Na'Vi, on their way inside the zone, they're also going to be collecting that airdrop. That's going to be a little icing on top of a cake kind of situation for Na'Vi. But again, Besiktas looking quite great in the position they found themselves in. Zessi goes down. They need to get the fallen man back up. Unicorns love GK first. Out in the open, Lin being spotted. Got instantly turned around and slapped in the face. Lin goes down now. And guess what? Unicorns love. They're looking forward to try and get Lin back up on his feet. But Nextria isn't a team that's gonna let that happen that easily. Lin crawling back, able to crawl back to safety. And Nextria, I'm pretty sure watching this, they're gonna be quite jealous.
Yeah, Nextria, they're also right indeed on that elimination space. They've got to get the kills, but they want to go for these placement points. Keep in mind, there's still surprisingly 9 teams remaining. They're all pretty ruined. They're all pretty damaged, but there's still 9 teams nonetheless, and that means the placement points, they're not high at all. We're still looking at only 1 in the current situation for whoever goes down next, and that's why in such a lower kill game, replacement points really matter. Unicorns love, yes, they've got a highest amount, but I think they will fall soon. And that might be all they grab.
Oh man, look at the spread between the players of Fenerbahce as well. Looking so great, like getting the most amount of zone for themselves. They're controlling the most amount of land as well. Na'Vi on the edge, making sure now, this time they're the one making sure that Black Dragon is being held off at bay, but still they're getting shot at by another team. It's going to be Fenerbahce. Duke and Machine able to find one. Kitsune goes down. A big man goes down this time. Magic now going to be having a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Rummelizin right on top of him, but now Rise, they're also taking a couple of shots onto themselves. Mythic in the front lines. Does know maybe there is someone over there. Mythic quite well aware of what exactly is going on around the surroundings, but he has a lot of pressure. He's separated out from the team. If he goes down in this position, it's going to be quite awkward.
Supermassive Blaze. The nade won't land onto him. Rise, they are aggressing further forward.
The nade!
No, it won't land. It won't be so okay for now, but the bullets, it might not also. But look at the split coming through. Cassera will go down. Tron as well. Kef, he's in the Mount No Man's Land right now. It's Besiktas. They're looking to secure the kills. They've also got a No Man's Land member of Recent. But I think Recent, he's about to regret this because it's a cavalry coming in from Rise. It's a 3-man shutdown. It's about to happen. Impending doom potentially is now the rest of Besiktas. They come further forward, trying to navigate their way into zone, but Rise doing the same. Will look to stop them. Gary on the back end. I think they spotted him. They've been stopped.
Oh my god, so low.
They're on the edge of the ocean. Mythic slides down. He doesn't fall to take the full damage at all.
Oh, I think so. That was a little mistake from inside of Mythic. He didn't really mean to fall, but still it's working out, so that's good for Rise. They're looking to swipe this they're looking to sweep away this entire positioning, and yes, they're going to be able to do so. Now, Besiktas striked out the way. Rise looking pretty good in the position they've gotten themselves. They can be comfortable for now. Na'Vi, they've gotten themselves this little low ground to play with. Matic being taken down. The kill should be confirmed in no time, but still, he's able to crawl away to safety. Black Dragons, with this kind of a high ground, they can always make sure Na'Vi is being pinned down and not really overextending themselves. But Fenerbahce, I feel like this is their game to lose.
Fenerbahce's game to lose, right? This zone has been so dire for all of these teams, but it's stayed with Fenerbahce. Their faith on this squad will hold true. Unicorns of Love gonna lose with Sona is on the back end. He'll drop. GK first, only one left, and I think Kasuni's next to follow. Golden will strike him down. I didn't even see it coming. It's now Golden. So Lovo has to navigate a set back through the zone. Unicorns of Love will fall away as well. And into the distance, down to our 7 remaining squads. But look at the amount of solos. 3 of them all there. The rest of the 4 on a trio. They've got to find and use those numbers advantage, as we said, to crash onto Fenerbahce. It's these open flats around Fenerbahce that are so difficult without a vehicle to be able to push inwards. The only thing cover could be these tree lines. Navigating in between the trees, their only option.
Yeah, I just like how good of a scout Bomb is, right? He was always able to get those positions for Fenerbahce beforehand, before the circles he was even able to shift down south. And now this is why Fenerbahce are in the position for success. And it seems like they can always go for this win as well. They're looking pretty strong. They have the only compound inside this late zone. Black Dragons on the edges, they're being held off at bay. Golden being found. The kill should be confirmed. And yes, Fenerbahce looking so strong in the position they've got themselves. They're able to rack up so much info. They're able to work around with it. And Duke and Machine, yeah, he is a little separated out, but his job is to make sure that he's racking up a lot of kills in the position that he's found himself in. And next, Ruya, the charge in comes in through from this squad, able to get one. And they've gotten themselves 4 total limbs. That's nice.
They can't stop now. They need that vehicle, though, Necro. They need to come further in, and because they didn't continue that push immediately after, now Fenerbahce, they've been aware of the situation, and they're able to now capitalize on this. You've got Dokkan Machine coming off the back end. He struck down one. Yeka won't be the next, though. Is Dokkan Machine punished for his over-aggression into next Royer? Is Fenerbahce down to 2. Next Royer looking for the revive. The smokes come out in defensive formation, as I think Fenerbahce, Band-Aid, if it doesn't land, we will be in some trouble. As the advantage goes towards next Royer, you can see on the opposite end, though, it's all about those solos as well. Rest of Besiktas, Furious Gaming, shuffling it out. Supermassive Blaze, they won't be a part of that picture, though. Another kill over to next Royer. 6 now in total.
Oh, next Royer, look at that Yikta. The man comes in clutch, shuts the final man down, strikes him down, able to clutch or at least save the day for his team. Rise. Oh, they have the man advantage. They have the man number working in their favor. And they can always close this game out. And now Fenerbahce, with Duke and Machine being taken out, they're big time handicapped. But they do have a real good compound to work with. But this circle shift is going to be forcing them to move out in the open next Ruya. Oh, they're barely making it. They're barely making it inside the circle. They're on the edge, but Rise, they're looking like the king of the next zone.
Rise's game to fall as it does shift hard in towards the coastal line. Next Royer, they do have the rocks there potentially to cross inwards. But it's been a battery right. That's the problem is yet gets knocked. Valky, knocks bomb. They are the perpetrators to stop the rest of next Royal. So we come down towards a silent few phases. 10 seconds before these teams have to move in, and you can see Fenerbahce, they're starting to make that push because they know, keep in mind, the zone is not with them. They do have to continue to move. Just like that buggy. It's going on a ride. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see from the players too. The buggy's just demonstrating it work.
Oh man, the buggy is definitely gathering a lot of attention from us. But yeah, Furious Gaming still able to make it inside the game till this
still
late.
Going.
Yep, they're still going. Yep, next to Besiktas. These two are definitely going to be locking their eyes onto each other, but they're just not going to be able to do anything about it. Now, they will have to be two friendly people. They can't do anything. They're not allowed to fight against each other unless Trigger, if he's able to get himself this little ridge, and yes, he has found a little piece of land for himself. As soon as the man from Besiktas exposes himself, he will be taken care of. But Enjoy 7 now hiding behind this little airdrop. And what is going on? Okay, well, we can keep our eyes off of that for now. But Fenerbahce, this has came down to a complete stalemate, Jake.
Buggy, it's happening. Actually, it's having a time of its life. I think it's confused where it wants to be in the rock, where it wants to be out of rock. Telling you what, though, I think Besiktas, he wishes he was on the rock. Because Furious Gaming, Trigger, he's got the advantage. Enjoy, not going to be long for his world. Oh, it's the cars. I see. Next Roy, how could you do this? The buggy is trying to move. In the car, it cannot escape. You've got to be able to move your vehicle, please. Have some mercy on the buggy. Buggy lives matter, man.
Oh, man, and here we go. Finally, the silence breaks through. And Furious Gaming able to shut down Besiktas. But again, there's just nothing they can do. They're all the way in the bottom. He can always try and go for those placement games, but he's not going to be able to get on top of it. He's not going to be able to survive for that long. So in the end, I'm guessing the final three teams are going to be next Ruya, Fenerbahce, and Rice. That nade was quite close. Oh, would have taken them both out the game, but the Molotov lands right next to them. And next Ruya, they're under a lot of pressure. Another nade lands in from the side of Rice. And look at this, the goal call's being made. The charge comes in through. Mythic leading the pack. Yikta, the only man to try and hold on, but what? Why are they so unaware of Fenerbahce's position? Mythic, you need to watch out from that.
Oh, Mythic got slapped on the backhand of Fenerbahce. Like a French kiss. It's got to go both ways, on both cheeks. And that's what Fenerbahce had to go for. Next Royer, it might have been just a few moments extra to live. With Furious Gaming, I think the real winner here is going to watch the party and shoe further forward. Trigger will watch as the hat will drop. Yetka going down on the bottom side, trying to survive because he don't want this fight versus Rise and Fenerbahce. But it's going to happen anyways.
Oh, Nihat tried to crawl next to his teammate, but unfortunately he dropped down a little bit too low. And now Rise catching Fenerbahce out in the open. They're trying to go inside the zone safely, but not anymore. Fenerbahce just messing a lot of things over, and I feel like they completely threw the game as soon as Dugan Machine was taken out. And look at this, Rise. They're just always on that aggressive foot, man. Sometimes you gotta hold your horses, Rise. The zone's yours. You can always try and play things out a little safe over here. Mufasa lobbing in a little bit of underhand nades, trying to catch the final man of next Ruya, but Yikta is able to sneak past through all the eyes. Trigger's still alive. Look at this. He just has that little pixel of land to work with. But finally, the wall of death is moving in. Trigger, slowly and steadily. Yep, slowly and steadily. He's still in. He's still in. He's trying his best to fight his way through.
They've put in those pins down. They put it. The nades bowling across the mountain alley. Is now Mufasa.
Oh, he slips down. No.
They're coming in, right. It takes the zone. No, he slips again. He's trying. He's trying to survive. He's barely got some form of survival going on. No. Don't slip again, please.
Hold on.
Trigger. You feel it. It's like an action movie in Hollywood. He couldn't hang on. The storyline's plotted down. I think Rise, they're going to be the hero of the hours. Yetka is only got one more space to move. And one more grenade to land, one more molly, we'll find it. Necro, I think this is where we say goodbye.
Just send it.
This is where we say our prayers.
Please send it, Rise. Please send it. Just go for those. Just go for those drop, man. Please just send it, Rise.
Oh,
Yes,
go
do
in.
it! Do it! And this is what we like to see, Yita! Oh, that got quite close, though. That got quite close, though. But Rise, yeah, in the end, able to get that chicken dinner. Oh, we just like to see this, man. Rise. Just a team full of action packed. This is just an action-packed team, man. And I always love to watch Rise.
Oh man, nice Warrior though. They just need a little bit of that health bar. We're gonna come up with that upset. That would have been the upset of centuries in PUBG Mobile Esports universe. But I mean, Rise, they had that zone, their number when it came to, of course, as you mentioned, Dokkan Machine, a slight overpush on the rest of Fenerbahce onto next Warrior. They got too greedy for the kills, and it hit them hard in that back, and it got punished hard for that. From that moment on, the rest of the two in that compound, as soon as that zone shifted further away from them, the luck left them. They couldn't be able to close out that game, despite, I think, clearly having that zone advantage over every other one of these teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Dokkan Machine, I don't really know why he was so out in the open, man. Yeah, I do understand he had a little bit of rocks to work with, but again, dude, your teammates are all the way in the compound. That's way much more better place than you have found yourself in, right? You can anytime just catch a nade. I would rather be with my teammates inside that compound and try and rack up those kills. And Dokkan Machine, as soon as he went down, I knew the chances of Fenerbahce taking this chicken dinner also started to fade away.
Yeah, I think actually his position was okay. Dokkan Machine was fine on the coastline. It's the over-aggression, right, if it was a mistake. Because Dokkan Machine needs to be on that coastline to stop Rise coming in. That's why they couldn't actually win that game. Because they're not going for what's behind them. They're going for what's in front. And Team Queso, speaking of in front, I mean, it was party up in that lighthouse tower. I mean, from all fronts. For all fronts there, Ghost. We had a little bit of fun with the vehicles. We had a little bit of fun with the vehicles late game, but it's not how Ghost wanted to have fun. As they got taken out early, Team Queso racking up those kills, so important for them. And Mad Bull's not the other team down on that relegation zone. Not so favorable, though. You can see them get taken out, of course, by Eastern Stars. They got blocks. They got blocks in that bridge so hard.
Oh man, and we also got to talk about that Team Queso and Footballers fight, right? I do like that take of discipline from his side, how he was able to just let them pass through, and as soon as he knew, okay, now is the time when Footballers are the most vulnerable. That's when he decided to strike in. He got himself like a couple of knocks, but in the end, I think it was Unicorns of Love who decided to third-party him. No, it was actually Mad Bulls, and then Unicorns of Love third-partied Mad Bulls. He was third-partied after third parties on that left side of the bridge, but in the end, no one was able to cross through because the blue zone was just taking so much damage on them.
Oh, I mean, if I'm also the side of exit, I'm just saying, I'm kind of had this game, kind of went well in terms of the standings as best they could hope for, but we've still got to hope for one more match, as I think here we come to a close. Of course, the highlights Fenerbahce keeping themselves strong. On the front side, though, it was all said and done for Unicorns of Love as we approach all of these teams dropping like flies, as we said, so fast. Next Warrior, next to the party. They took down Dokkan Machine, but where did they go? Right, Supermassive Blaze. All of these other squads, they had them completely surrounded. And at that point, you can't move. They had that unresettable spot, as we said, and Rise. They able to take such advantage of everyone for it.
Jake, I'm honestly scared for Exit. I feel like after that game,
no. Don't
Exits
tell me.
are not going to be in a good spot. I honestly feel like after that game, Exits are not going to be in a good spot. They might as well just not be able to make it to Super Weekend 2 because there's still one more game to come. And I feel like after that game as well, Exit are probably going to be pushed down even more. So, I mean, I do know there might be a decent amount of fans in the chat of Exit, but the chances are looking like pretty much next to impossible.
And just one more game, you gotta bless up Necro because we're heading back to the analyst
no way. I don't think
seeing if we can survive. I'm praying.
What an epic game on Erangel Zute. I mean, that was an insane end zone there for all these teams.
It was indeed insane, and hopefully we'll get to see the overall rankings after these points, but I gotta agree with the casters. I think the perfect teams that did not do well, that was behind Exet, all of a sudden popped off that game, just like last week. So we'll see in a second, but Glitter, I think this is the case.
It's definitely starting to get a little bit dire here for Exit, but as we take a look at our MVP from that last match in Mythic, we got 771 damage, 4 elims. Obviously, Rise having a really strong performance here for themselves. We kept saying we were waiting for them to step back up because, you know, we saw them do it yesterday when they were finally able to get in on some of those games, and now they're doing it again here today. Another team from Brazil that's very capable of loads of aggression, and you're looking for these overall standings, Zoo.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, Besiktas is moving up here a little bit too.
they're good. They're chilling. I'm just waiting for that second page. Like, first page, congrats to everyone, you know, up here having great games. And we didn't even talk about the circle. That was the craziest circles, but here we go. All right, let's
Oh no.
That's even worse.
Things are looking very bad.
That's even worse than last week. Last week, going into the last game, they were at least like 14th. But 2 points separating Eastern Stars Xset, 4 points.
All right,
yeah.
Zoo. What's the likelihood here that somebody hot drops Eastern Stars? It just takes them out. And then they would need like 3 teams hot dropped on to even make it through Xset.
Exactly.
Oh no.
It's Eastern Stars, Furious Gaming, and okay, Team Queso. Let's make a point about Team Queso as well. Sorry, Span. We just got. I'm just like firing on all cylinders right now. Team Queso, if they don't make it, which is they need like 9 points.
Yeah.
Not usually 9 points, one game, doable. But Queso has not been looking good all week long. So there's a good chance Queso might also not make it for 2 weeks in a row. That's Xset and Queso both, you know, missing on 2 super weekend span.
It's not looking good, but oh man. So let's start getting that positive energy out there for both Team Queso and Xset. You guys know what to do. If you guys are a fan of both of these teams, get into the PMGC 2021 fan vote in PUBG Mobile. You can vote for your favorite team and players and potentially get rewards. You can get a voting ticket. You can go ahead and watch live in the Esports Center and of course get millions of rewards, various pink level permanent items only during this PMGC period, including PMGC exclusive treasure boxes. You can go on ahead and watch PMGC live on YouTube or in the Esports Center in-game. Get the PMGC token and redeem it to get PMGC permanent items. So, oh man, Suti already said it. It's not looking too good for Xset. Currently right on the edge on that 16th place position, just 2 points away from not making it into the second super weekend. Team Queso still at least though has one more match to get themselves out of there. We will be back after a break though, y'all, before that last match starts. See you soon.
For this flame path, going from Primals all the way up to just between hang on a minute. I don't think carpooling is a thing in PMGC. To the side, get to the tree. That's your cover.
Get over here!
And get your teammates involved. I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation if you're Sitar. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves, got the PMGC outfit. He looks clean. He's right on the top of the car. I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now? Magic Man himself, Sitar. But in comes another player to try and what for. And this time, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, dodging cars is one thing.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back, PMGC 2021 West League, and our very last match of this second week of league play. Zute, you already got a chance to speak about what's happening, so let's throw it on over to Glitter. This is the last game for some of these teams to get into that qualifying range.
Yeah, there's so much on the line right now. I mean, specifically, I do agree with you, Zoo, when we're talking about Team Queso. One of those teams we've been keeping our eyes on, trying to see if they can make it into this next Super Weekend. And 9 points shouldn't be an insurmountable amount for most of these teams, especially if we're just thinking of old Queso, the Queso that we saw in previous seasons. That's something they should be able to achieve. But based off of the performances that we've seen here so far, I don't know that it's doable.
I would definitely pick a team other than Queso, not because, you know, just I don't believe in Queso, but looking back to last week's performance, right? Some of these other teams that are about to not qualify, well, they made it in last week. So I feel like if anything goes to show, they could do it again. And if history repeats itself, just like how it's repeating with XSET, I feel like the same thing's going to repeat for Queso as well, Span.
And taking a look at also all of these stats going by, we're seeing a nice mixture of a ton of people. I mean, Rise, Queso, you have Next Ruvia, not quite surprised to see that whatsoever, but you guys already said it. Taking a look at these bottom teams right now, Eastern Stars, Furious Gaming, and Mad Bulls, those three teams already made it into last Super Weekend. So now, I feel like for the chance for XSET to even have a chance to go ahead and qualify for the grand finals, they have to make it into this next Super Weekend. But Zute, there's only 2 points separating them, and from what we know, how well does Eastern Gaming, Furious Gaming, and Mad Bulls usually do on Sanhoks?
Ooh, Sanhok, yes, we are on the wild card map. That is Sanhok for a lot of these teams. I think, like, with those little amount of points, I think they'll be fine, because when they get into a fight, all they really need to do is just focus on picking up the confirmed kill points, right? And then as soon as you get those couple points, you're good. You're in the clear. These teams know where they stand. These teams know their point ranges too. So we might see, you know, just a slight adaptive playstyle coming into this very last game of Sanhok Span.
Ooh, so it's we can't even go on ahead and guess or assume anything on what's going to happen into this last match, because there's just so many unknowns. You're right, Sanhok is pretty crazy. A lot of these teams either go out with a lot of points or no points whatsoever. So it's a lot riding on this, but you guys also know the drill. We got to go on ahead and talk about OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro. They have flagship performance, an immersive 120Hz display, and hypertext technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 9 Pro are your best shots to climb the leaderboard glitter. It clearly looks like that some of these teams don't have one of those.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And the worst part about the points, the way that they are now too, I mean, I know you're talking about just making sure you're cleaning up those confirms in your engagements there, Zoo, but they can wait it out too. Like they have...
Oh, yeah. You're right.
They only need 2 placement points, right? They just have to wait for somebody else to go down, because it's only 13th through 16th that gets 0, and then now you're in the 1 point zone. And if you're in that too, if you're
right.
Eastern Stars, I mean, that's 2 points. They just got to stay alive. And with how fast Sanhok goes, as long as they have a safe drop and they know that they haven't been getting caught out on any of their rotations, they just have to make it a couple circles and they're good. Like, it's gonna be
I just realized something based on what you're saying. Team Queso and PMPL Americas, they were the team to get 2nd place back to back to back on Sanhok through med stratting alone. So, ooh, that changes things all of a sudden as far as my Queso prediction. Ooh, this is going to get very interesting. A lot of the action we might want to focus on is actually just Team Queso in the blue zone. Early on, follow Team Queso in the blue zone and look at their med count. Like, that might be the team to pass up. And not just, it could be Queso and Eastern Stars too. Like, it's not just one team that could, make it up there. Speaking of which, who's the 15th place team then that might get kicked out? Not just XSET, right?
I didn't even look because I was so shocked.
Yeah.
I think it's next Ria. I think it might be next
Okay,
Ria.
but they're playing. So, oh my.
Yeah.
We got 1 game left, and there's just, I'm ready. Span, I'm so ready. Just drop us off, Span. Like, let's get this one
we're
going.
not there just yet.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'll say one more thing as well. The next team that has already finished all of their matches is actually Baluk Chabtan. And they're currently in 12th place with 48 points. That is 10 points more than the 16th place right now. So that's the next one. I think that's the next one y'all are kind of trying to figure out. feel like they're safe at this point, so it's either going to be 2 or 1 teams that are just not going to be making it into this next one again, and it's going to be Team Queso or, of course, Xset. I feel like Blue Chapter might go ahead and be safe Zute, but they just need 8 points. Team Queso needs 8 points, and you're right. Since they usually do Blue Zone strat, those 8 points.
They can do it.
I'm stressed. I'm stressed.
Too. I think we're all stressed right now. Not as stressed as at this point. Xset might just not even.
True.
You know, just true. They might just. I think if I were Xset, I'd be like, okay, we're not making it. Like, we're not even gonna stay and watch to see what happens, because it is really that dire. Like, I don't think there's any chance that they're qualifying through. So unfortunate for them. But hey, I might be wrong.
My heart just broke.
And that would be crazy. Yeah. Go ahead, Span.
My heart just broke for him.
I think we should just get into the match, Span.
Go.
You're not wrong.
Go.
You're not wrong. At this point, we're all just on the edge of our seats. We just need to go on ahead and jump into the Sanhok match. So let's go on ahead and do it. Highland Wolf and Necro could be bringing us our last match of this league play.
The final match of the second weekday play here. Necro, one more Sanhok to decide it all. I'm hopeful. In my big evil heart, there's a sliver of kindness for Xset and sympathy. In which if all of those 4 teams just eliminate themselves, Xset can make it in. I have the hope. I have a dream. Don't crush me like it.
Hey, come on. I mean, we gotta live in the reality over here, okay, Wolf? I mean, team that is right beneath them, that is right underneath them is Eastern Stars, and they only need 2 more points. And you think they're not even gonna be able to get 2 points from the game of Sanhok? Like,
Easy.
Come on. It's way too easy. Just stay out in the zone, keep on healing yourself, and you're already up in top 16. Exit out the way now. It's even from Super Weekend 2. Just spam hearts in the chat for Exit, please.
Man, I think spam broken hearts for Xset. I mean, you guys have no faith. I've got the faith. Maybe it's false faith. It's probably false faith. But I said at the start, I've got hope. I'm going to stick with them to the very end. Even if they end up in 20th position, Mad Bulls have a pop-off 30-point game. Somehow make it into the top 16. I mean, actually, to be fair, I might jump off the Xset train. If Mad Bulls get a crazy game and they actually do get a 30-point game now, I've called it. I am the new Highland Wolf Domus. That is, I've got a call, man.
Hey, look, I mean, Mad Bulls, they can always try and go for those kind of crazy games, right? But still, up till now, I mean, looking quite questionable, bro. I don't even know if I should hop onto that Mad Bulls trend, because they're all the way in the bottom with only 20 points. Now, the only team that if I'm I'm worrying about is going to be Furious Gaming, Queso, and Eastern Stars. Any of these teams have a big game. Actually, Eastern Stars don't even need a big game. Eastern Stars and Furious Gaming, they just need Furious Gaming needs 4 points. Eastern Stars needs 2 points. So Exit, they're pretty much out the equation now. We are not going to be counting Exit in the top 16. And now this is where any team from the bottom 4, actually just the bottom 3, Eastern Stars, Furious Gaming, and Team Queso, if any one of these teams get themselves a big game inside this one, this is where the real trouble starts for all the teams that are over there, man, up. That is right above Exit as well.
I'm just side note into the fact that was some parkour 1000 IQ coming through from Black Dragons. I mean, I did not know that was possible, but I have learned something in the world of PUBG today. I'm going to jump down onto hard tier next time and around that location. I'm just going to jump straight in onto that tractor and I'm going to go up on that rooftop. That is what I am surveying when I go into my PUBG Mobile games. But to survey a little bit more, I'm actually looking at some of these teams, as you mentioned, right? Furious Gaming, Team Queso. I think Team Queso are the other big, scary squad. Can they somehow resurge their way back into that top 16? Because I think actually from Team Queso, right, it's been really scary for also coming in, one of the big Brazilian favorites from the PMPL Americas. They have not been on form, though, when it comes to overall.
Exactly. I mean, you can say, yeah, they were pretty scary in the past, but currently they're definitely not scary because they're sitting in the bottom 4. They missed out on the first
on a Sanhok week, man.
As well.
On a Sanhok week.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Exit, dude. I mean, not Exit. My bad. Team Queso. I don't really know what to go for. I mean, they do have a huge chance of making it in top 16. But again, not just making it in top 16, they will have to have a decent amount of points. They will have to have a good outing from this game to at least try and hold on to that position. Because again, keep this in mind, there's still teams above Team Exit that are trying to hold on to that position.
Right, I mean, Chaos next, Royal Unicorns that love Fenerbahce. I feel like we're seeing the same teams. I'm going to be frank here, Necro, in that bottom side of leaderboards. When's it going to change? Because Mad Bulls, it's got to change right now. They're getting lit up and Monkey inside of that blue zone. It's not working out for them. They're all dead, and at least we've confirmed one out of the Super Weekend. Mad Bulls, we're going to look like Sad Bulls for the next 3 days.
Oh, man. Oh, man, that's a little bit of sad life for a team like Mad Bulls, but it's fine. Again, that production, as soon as they showed us Monkey's clip, and now instantly they show us Monkey's cam as well, is doing the same thing, using that buggy. Is he going to be making the same mistake again, though? The chances are pretty low, but yeah, hopefully he doesn't really do that again. But for now, getting back to the serious mindset over here, we do see all the teams kind of stacking up right in the smack center of the zone. Now, still, the zone kind of has that mysterious aura. We still don't know if the zone's going to be shifting up top. Is it going to be going down below, or is it going to be going on the right side? A7, as always, they like to play their classic game. They're going to be taking this hill control and just going to be sitting over here as quiet as possible.
Don't do it, Necro. Don't jinx the zone. It's just a Highland Wolf effect, but we've not realized yet. They've not realized that when I join in on casting, the zones go wild. That's what it is. It's just game 3, game 4 is Could be a big 5-0 here, right? Oh no.
No. Man was just vibing on the scooter, got taken out. Ghost was just sitting around like that quietly, and Mad Bulls, they just walked straight into Ghost's crosshair, and we were talking about this game being important for Mad Bulls. And guess what? We can already start counting them out the equation. Corey doing the same thing. He's on the scooter as well, and he gets caught too. What's going on, Mad Bulls? Why do you guys love those scooters so much? Yin Yang, the only man alive, and Rise, you might as well just charge against them.
Look, they were going Gear 6 into the afterlife. They were wanting to sit back with their popcorn for the next 3 days. Like, we've had one super weekend. Now we got to relax, guys. We're going to hold back. We're going to come back for week 3 strong, because I hope so. They're going to need that strength, because I think it might be the end, unless it's a miracle 1v4 coming out from Yin Yang. But here comes, as we said, the whole squad of Rise. The silence them away, and Mad Bulls, I will be correct this time, will not make it into the super weekend for the second week. They still end up in 16th position regardless.
Oh, Mad Bulls. 16th position in this game, but in the overall rankings, all the way in the bottom with only 20 points. They were not even able to get a single elimination in this one. So Mad Bulls, we have a confirmation, ladies and gentlemen. Mad Bulls isn't going to be making it into Super Weekends week 2. That's an unfortunate outing. That's an unfortunate news. And Mad Bulls now, we can safely call them Sad Bulls.
No, they're very Sad Bulls. They're very Sad Bulls. There's Niagara Falls amount of tears coming out of their eyes right now. I mean, just some love, man, to the Mad Bulls in chat. Salute, move on. I'm sorry you weren't good enough. An average of what? Just over 2 points per game. Not great when it comes to PMGC West, but still looking towards some of those other teams, right? Unicorns love one of those on the firing line who need a good game, because there is still that potential, as we mentioned. Those other 3 teams inside the elimination space, they're still pretty close to Unicorns of Love, and I mean, Unicorns of Love?
Oh no, watch out!
Oh no!
What?
Oh, they hit it! That time it worked, but I mean, Unicorns of Love, right? They have finished in that first week, 16th position. They were like 2 points out of being eliminated. But then he came into the Super Weekend, they stomped. I want to see some of that stomping, because it's getting too close for comfort for me personally. For Unicorns of Love, the second week in a row that they are facing it down to the wire.
Unicorns of Love are sitting on 14th position. Yeah, they definitely don't really have that safety cushion, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to defend that 14th spot. And as you mentioned, yeah, their main kind of motto here is to just try and qualify in those Super Weekends. And as soon as they do that, that's where they start showing their true colors. That's when you see the real Unicorns of Love. But over here now, Ghost, being spotted by the players of Furious Gaming. And just to let you guys know, Furious Gaming is in 18th position. They only need 4 more points to make it to top 16. If they're able to make it out alive successfully from this situation, they might be able to at least try and go for those positioning points. Furious Gaming, one man out the equation. This leaves that squad with only 3 players alive. And
You said
Ghost,
alive,
yep,
you
they're
cast a
looking pretty
cursed
good.
man.
Oh,
You cast a cursed Necro.
I'm sorry.
You said the word alive, and Big Milo was like, nope, I'm getting out of here in this game. You three, you journey on. I'm going back to sleep. It's late for me. It's you know what it is? It was the mum coming in. It was the mum flank telling him it was bedtime, and it was just too late. That is what it is. Mum flank, too OP. I'm telling you.
Oh, man. For now, again, nothing really crazy happening in the game. We do see just teams going for their comfort spots inside the zone. And as I was talking about, the mysterious aura still continues inside the zone. We don't exactly know the zone's going to be shifting again. It's just divided perfectly into those 3 portions of lands. But now over here, Supermassive Blaze finds 1 knock on the players of Unicorns of Love. A little separation from their side. And as we were talking about Unicorns of Love, they need to defend that 14th spot.
Unicorns of Love. Zone not looking so hot right now. He's crawling along. He's bleeding out on those rocks. He needs some help. Rokers, go down. Support your fallen man. But he's on foot. Watson, he's bleeding out. You gotta move. Here comes the vehicle and jumping in onto the charge. There we go. Woodson, it's okay. We found a revive. It's phase 2. You mentioned it. Has gone over towards these north and southwestern islands of Sanhok. So Unicorns of Love, they will be okay for now, navigating across that western side, but we do have to be careful, right? Supermassive Blaze just ahead of him, and that is so decisive. If that zone continues to shift up north, right, Supermassive Blaze gonna look a lot prettier when it comes to taking out Unicorns of Love and potentially being the perpetrators. Unicorns of Love falling out.
Unicorns of Love should be able to get the rest back up onto the Fallen Man, and yes, they will. And as I mentioned, 14th place is what they really need to hold on to. They don't need a banger of a game to do so. Instead, they just need a little consistent game. And the Unicorns of Love can definitely try and make that happen. We do know what they're capable of. We saw that in the previous week 1. But at this point in time, we can pretty much also count a team exit out the equation from the top 16. They're pretty much out. Well, over here, as I mentioned, Furious Gaming, they're still in the fight, including Eastern Stars. And Eastern Stars, this game is really important for them. But over here, what's going on? A stalemate situation, Jake. Aton and Footballist. Footballist have Coco just pinned behind that little car.
It looks for exit, but not out to their out. But they'll get out eventually. Don't worry. Eastern Stars, I'm sure, will pick up 2-3 kills along the way. I mean, Cardi, we look back to the replay, exactly what went on and why Adam are so in trouble. It's that zone engulfed him, ate him up.
Not really. He actually just rammed his car against the box and he got taken out.
Yes. It was a box diff. It was a box diff. He needs to get his L place back on. It's okay. Choco's there to save him. Balax, actually, no. Balax didn't leave Choco. They're going else places. I think they got better ideas, right? They see the Footballist. They got control of this bridge. There's no way out for Choco. Use Choco's vision. Where Footballist go in. Try to flank around. Try to be sneaky. But looking at flank, it's Lutz as well. A super wide western side flank coming out a lot. That could actually stop AT7 right in their tracks.
Aton, as you mentioned, stopping them right in their tracks. Asta being found. Aton should be stopped right in their tracks now, but Milos is there. Milos is right there in the clotheslines. He's going to be able to get the rest back up on the Fallen Man. But look at the zone still. Besiktas right in the smack center. They have a good positioning, but the separation sometimes might work out and might not. But I feel like in these kind of situations, you should always be next to your squad mates. Still A7, they have that hill control for themselves, but as soon as the circle shifts away from them on the left side, A7 are going to be in a lot of trouble because Besiktas, they're going to make sure A7 isn't able to cross over.
Hi, man. More of these entrances for so many of these teams. Furious Gaming control the kills in the zone. Is Supermassive Blaze inside Ruins. Unicorns of Love are playing with fire right now. There's Lin. They do make it in. They'll be able to control themselves on the outskirts. Rolk is also going to try next, but can Kef find an attempt number 2? Potential kills. No, Rolkers will hold up for now. So they're going to hold on to either end of the flank, but it keeps Supermassive Blaze at bay. There's not so much air. The life of Choco will be spotted out by Soke. We flank all the way out. But keep in mind, 800 meters from zone. Footballers, some of them not looking so hot right now, as that zone is going to be so difficult. In between all 3 of these islands, makes the decision of where to go so frustrating for all of these squads. And that's why you're going to see these teams try to play further back, try to play more patient in this phase 3 still, because engaging in a fight at this point, awaiting possibly a hard shift from your location is pretty game-ending.
Oh no, Ghost catching a lot of bullets on their bodies. Next 3 are the one trying to get a clear line of sight onto them, but Ghost as well. They're making sure they're shrouding themselves in those smokes. They're using those smokes to perfection, able to get out of that uncomfortable position for now. But Ghost, they still need to make their mark inside the zone, and they will have to go past through Furious Gaming. They will have to breach through their defense, and I do want to see, are they going to be able to do so? Team Queso right out in the open, still inside the zone. Looking decent for now, but we still never know. As soon as the zone starts shrinking even lower, even smaller, that's when I feel like Team Queso, they need to be a little cautious. They are probably going to get charged on.
Yeah, I think that Team Queso definitely are coming around from that slighter, distant end of the zone. I think they're going to have to be a little bit more patient, right? You've got to slowly make your way in. Is that on? They will fall down, but they're going to be okay. They're going to make it through into that Super Weekend, surely with their previous results. But as we said, Team Queso, they do have to be very slow. They have to be very patient. They need the kills, not only the position points inside of this final game. It's all up to them if they actually have the hope, really, of coming into the finals of the PMGC West, because missing out, of course, on 2 Super Weekends is pretty breaking when it comes to your chances as a whole, and makes the chances of all those other squads so much better. So important for this Brazilian squad to make it inside. Rise, speaking of Brazilian squads, matching up against their former victor, A7, who overshadowed them. Right, so they've been stepping up, to be fair, throughout the entirety of their tournament, but they do have the problem. Speaking of shadows, right, that zone, it's gone behind them and it's gone away from them because it's heading in towards ruins, heading in towards that L compound. And those hills, they're looking so juicy right now, but no one's there inside of them.
That's going to be trouble knocking on the door for A7. They will need to start booking it inside the zone as quick as possible, because Rice, right in the back lines, they're going to be trying to take care of A7. But talk about back lines, Fenerbahce being taken care of by Team Na'Vi. Matic is still standing, but he's also taking a decent bit of damage from. And now he will be taken out. And look at this. Incredible rotation. Actually, a quick rotation from the side of Rise. That's quite a brave one, quite a risky one. And it's not going to be paying out this time, though. One man falls down from the side of Rise. They tried to make it inside the zone as quick as possible. They tried to send it, but one man got found in that rotation. And A7, just with that hilltop control, they're able to gather so much info, Jake.
And you can see with that hilltop control, Rise, they're having to play that slower, more patient game around the back of their own hill to block. As A7 can start now to shoot down upon them. You can see that's why they stop. They look, zoom in, scope towards Zenitexer as they make their dash, hopeful that they won't get shot down inside of his zone. Look at the healing. Only 1 med kit. Only 1 first aid kit as well. And with that, so they got no real healing to answer such a zone as phase 4. They need to get in there, but they're chasing 190 odd meters behind an A7. I think this is pretty done and dusted here for Rise. I mean, Mythic inside of water, they could be one of those next to fall. As there goes Yetka, both annihilated out. Is having Potro from Furious Gaming to secure the kill.
Oh, Furious Gaming, they're able to rack up those kills on their name. That means a decent amount of points as well. And keep this thing in mind, Eastern Stars are still outside the zone, and I feel like they're going for that heal battle, exactly what I wanted them to do. Go for those placement points, go for that safer play, and that's what they're exactly doing. But Sheiktas able to spot out a player of Black Dragons. For Quizen now taking out the game, but Enjoy7 taking a little bit of shots on his back.
A7 are going to lose Zenitexer in the front line. Mafioso, Carrillo, also going to be heading up in this situation around the L compound. Keep in mind, this was where A7 the last game of Sanhok got absolutely 5-partied by those squads. Speaking of Team Queso, speaking of those squads that took out Alpha 7, they do strike out another footballer. They'll drop down into 12th position as they're not quite done yet. They'll secure also Beowulf in looking towards Team Queso, making that rise. 2 points so far on the kill leaderboard, but they've only got themselves to get inside the zone still. Rise not so lucky. On the edge of zone will be knocked down, and there goes Nihat with the extra kill.
Look at the circle shift right on top of Besiktas. They're right in the smack center. Zessi has the prime positioning over here. But again, you got to utilize this position to perfection. You got to make sure you're not really attracting a lot of eyes on you, because you can also be the center of attraction in these kind of zones. Eastern Stars, they're able to make their way inside the zone. Athens goes down. Octavian still alive and cooking. And Eastern Stars, they need to make sure that they're staying alive. But yeah, as I do see, there's only 2 players who have been able to make their mark inside the zone. The rest 2 are still outside, and they still have 1 more man alive in the game. And he's probably going to be going for that healing battle. And Eastern Stars playing this to perfection. They do realize they don't really need to hurry things a lot over here. Instead, going for that safer play, going for that heal battle. Perfect.
Yeah, but Besiktas, so Necro, they've got a high ground, and that means that they're going to be able to take that slower game. They've got the 2 closer into the zone, so they've got also the information. Actually, Eastern Stars go on that worse foot, because yes, they have their position, but those front 2 members were down. They don't have the front line, and that's a similar problem for Team Queso, right? They're trying to charge in, they're going way too late against the zone, and they get put down by Unicorns of Love like they're on a golf field, and it's a driver strike through with the guns on GK first. Takes down all but the final one. Is there, I think, yes, it will be. The rest of Team Queso hope might just be resting in week 3, because I don't think they've done enough to get inside of that week 2 super weekends.
Yeah, same. I don't really think so exactly. They have been able to do that enough to get inside the super weekend, week 2. So yeah, I mean, we can safely say at this point, maybe Team Queso as well is not really going to be able to make it through. But yeah, A7, I thought that A7 is going to be having a hard time to make it in the zone, but guess what? No is going to be the answer, because A7 perfectly able to breach in through Besiktas' defense. They're able to make their mark inside the zone, but the circle's out in the open. You only have trees and rocks to work with. A7, they still need to watch their backs from a team, but Besiktas, they're right behind them. If A7 decide to go a little too aggro inside the circle, Besiktas is probably going to be taking full advantage of that. And Unicorns of Love now catching a little bit of bullets onto themselves.
GK first went in for the kill, right, but they traded back 1 for 1. The nade a little bit cheeky onto Woodson, but he will be able to keep himself up for the meantime, and he will be able to make the revive happen. 6 more seconds, the nade not going to be cooked out there. But Potro, I think he might be next to be engulfed by the Papa Blue as he barely gets inside. A7. Final tick. The blue zone won't do it. He will be able to run. He has to move down to a final 5. Still a full squad though. A7 inside the zone. Unicorns of Love inside the zone as it shifts in between them both though. Necro, what's got your eye?
Oh man, my eyes is on the guy from Eastern Stars. He's still alive in the game. He's healing himself. He's going for those positioning. And keep this in mind, if he's able to rack up more than, I mean, at this point, he's probably has surpassed that 16th place. I think so they only needed like 2 points. They've gotten themselves 2 points. Eastern Stars are able to make it up to top 16. That's looking quite great. But on the other hand, now Supermassive Blaze spotting out the players of Unicorns of Love outside. Savian able to shut one down. And now Unicorns of Love left with only GK first in the game. GK first, trying his best to keep the flag of his team with himself, trying his best to carry it on forward. But A7, they're just looking like the kings of this final zone, and they are looking to take this one. They're looking to get this chicken dinner parceled.
But is this enough? Coming through, of course, from Furious Gaming, from Eastern Stars, they survive long enough to be able to clinch their way up above the rest of those teams on the border. Unicorns of Love, they're not going to be taken out by them because they're still alive. GK first, of course, keeping those points in the match. It's Pappy Potro, East of Blue Zone, but inside a fight, it's Supermassive Blaze, the final 2 up against A7 as Unicorns of Love dialed down up to 7 kills for the A7 Stars. This might just be even more. Eastern Stars next down afterwards. Supermassive Blaze join them at Furious Gaming. 12 points plus the kills they'll be able to get. I think they've done enough.
Heals.
I think they've barely clinched their way in. And A7, they're going to secure that chicken dinner. Oh my, was it a saving grace from some of those bottom teams?
Oh man, Furious Gaming as well. They're able to do quite good in that final game. Teams definitely stepped up when they needed it the most. And as I was talking about Eastern Stars, as I mentioned, just go for that heal battle, baby. Oh, you don't need to do anything else. Only 2 points is all you need. Just go for that heal battles, easy positioning points, and Eastern Stars already able to make it to top 16. They only needed like 2 points. So yeah, exit out the way now, out the equation. They're not going to be able to make it in the Super Weekend too. What are your views on that?
Ah, man, I think Eastern Stars, Furious Gaming, congrats to them. Exit, ripperonis and pepperonis, man. They're gonna have to sit back for the pizza for 3 days because they ain't going inside of that top 16. It's, I think, pretty dire for them. They're gonna have to come out with a fabulous week 3 alongside Team Queso, right? Mad Bulls as well are a team that we definitely know not gonna be making it. And now, who's the other one? Who's the 4th team? Who's going to be the 4th squad that's not making it? That's what's keeping my attention star-studded.
Yeah, that's what I'm also wondering, man. I wish I could just see overall rankings right in front of me, right? I just want to see that board, man. I just want to see those numbers. I just want to find out who's able to do that, right? Because the bottom 3 were looking so close. Mad Bulls, we did know there's no way they were able to make it. They got taken out instantly out the game. So it was between the bottom 3 teams. They wanted to make their mark up top. As I mentioned, Unicorns of Love was on 14th position. All they needed to do was just hold on to that 14th position. And I feel like they're able to do so successfully. They didn't really have the best of the game, but they were quite consistent in that previous Sanhok game.
Yeah, I definitely think that Unicorns of Love are also saving themselves through inside of that final match, were able to keep themselves up. Sanhok, of course, is their bread and butter when it comes to that healing strategy. Do it every single time. But for some of these other squads, I think you're now looking at A7 being really on form, quite frankly. I actually think that who else has been on form, but not today, but I think it's going to be a dark horse coming also into the Super Weekend, and going to be Knights. I think that Knights, one of these squads, I'm just saying that they got so many points in that first day, we cannot count them out, despite the fact that the 3 games today also were pretty shocking.
Yeah, I mean, Knights, they have been putting up a consistent performance in the league days, right? And so Super Weekend as well had quite a decent showing in the week 1, and even in week 2, going inside this, they're looking quite a strong force, and hopefully they're able to keep the momentum even inside the Super Weekend week 2, but only we can find that out in the future. But yeah, still my mind, I'm just not able to get my mind off of it. Yeah, even though Eastern Stars, they were able to heal themselves back up, still I don't know if they're able to do so, right? Because we gotta keep this thing in mind.
It'll be enough,
was that enough? That's the real question, because we gotta keep this thing in mind. Teams like Fenerbahce was also quite close to the bottom there, man.
Yeah, I definitely think you're looking at a very, very tight leaderboard. I just want to trace back towards the top right, heading in onto that Super Weekend now. That's the storyline. And Na'Vi, I think another one of these teams who are really, really going to be a team we keep our focus on. The battles between A7, Na'Vi, and Knights, these 3 teams who have been some of the favorites coming in, and I think Na'Vi, the last to step up in that table, also coming from Group A, right? Can they, or Group D, sorry, should I say, can they keep up that momentum that we've seen in today? Because they look a lot better in form than that week 1. It's about can, as we say, move that good form through into the Super Weekend, because they're still in a position in that Super Weekend where actually, even though these teams like Exit, like Team Queso have missed 2 Super Weekends now, they could still come out and overtake a team like Na'Vi if they don't have 2 good weekends themselves. I mean, we saw how much points can be given to one team like S2G in just 1 series of games.
I mean, again,
as that will be us. So as we do head through to the analyst desk, and for all more, it's Bancargo, Zute, and Glitter Explosion.
Thank you, Highland. Taking a look at this, as we can see here, our match rankings already up on top of that board. I mean, Zute, before we even got in here, right at the very last zone, you're like, A7, taking control of Sanhok again.
Yep, all is back to normal. And Queso, 3 points. We know for sure that wasn't enough. Mad Bulls also for sure 0 points was not enough. But I don't know. Like, there could be some shakeup. We know Exit didn't make it in, but there could be something else brewing, because I don't know. FG came in like 2nd place. That kind of changes things, right? With Eastern Stars and everything. So we'll see in a second. But ooh, this player, Enjoy, with the 517 damage, 45% team contribution. Really good job out of this player.
Yeah, I think this
I
might
haven't
be
really seen.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think this might be the first time that we've actually seen a Besiktas player up here in our MVP spot.
Yeah.
So this is going to be huge for them. They've really, honestly, turned their performance around this entire second week of league play, being one of those teams that desperately needed to ensure a spot into this next Super Weekend. As we take a look to the head-to-head here against super massive Blaze Savian, and these are very, very even numbers right now across the board, but still what I like to see is the fact that both of them are almost at 50% of their team's contribution.
Almost all from this last match, which is interesting because, I mean, we definitely saw Besiktas. I mean, they did very well coming into this league play, I will have to say, and point out for them. I mean, Zute, you know, last week they didn't even make it into the Super Weekend, very low, and this time they clearly wanted to go ahead, turn it around, and qualify for the second one.
Yep. They definitely adjusted, and well, I know we had completely like different maps today. Well, not completely, but we had a lot of Sanhoks, right, versus last week. So maybe they're just better on Sanhok, which I like. You know, every team's got their map strengths, and it's nice we see an alternating, you know, map pool to bring out the best in all the teams. Some teams, though, like I already said it, some teams just still can't get it done. So here it is. The overall. So first page, Alpha 7 though, back on top. The Knights right behind them. That's a rivalry that will never end, I feel like. But Na'Vi, hey, this Super Weekend, we might see a completely different Na'Vi, Glitter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see, because it feels like they really have kind of found their groove at this point. You see Supermassive Blaze jumping up a little bit here as we take a look at the rest of this top 10 situation. Besiktas holding on to that 10th place. S2G kind of sitting somewhere in the middle, but I think they're going to be very comfortable as well, considering the massive lead that they had over everyone after our first Super Weekend already. So moving into this next Super Weekend, I feel like it's going to just be a race to see who can chase down their points the fastest. But of course, when we look at the second page, that's where things are going to get a little bit spooky here, Zute. Who made it through? Wait! Eastern Stars didn't get it! They didn't get it!
Yo!
Happy.
Fenerbahce!
Wow. Okay, so... Oh, and then Furious Gaming, right? They had that second...
Yeah, they jumped up.
They had a huge jump off of Poppy Putro. Just that second place, or Poppy Patro, I believe.
Potro.
Sorry, but
Potro.
It's Putro. Okay, I mean, congrats to that
Potro.
guy. They got it. He got it through, and then yeah, Fenerbahce also making Eastern Stars. I thought Eastern Stars was in because they were 2 points behind Xset, and look how many points they got. They got a good game too. Wow, I was not expecting that at all.
Me neither.
I think we all were. Even the casters were kind of saying, like, oh, the Eastern Stars would not have made it. Clearly not. Furious Gaming didn't even take that into account. That Pepe Protro, you're right, was alive all the way into the very second place. That's absolutely insane, Zute, to go grab.
Yeah, definitely insane. But what's also insane, well, I mean, Coop's up here. Great job to him, but it's not too insane because this guy, he is just consistently that good. So I'm actually not too surprised. Question is, though, can the Knights do the same thing in the Super Weekend? Now, these elims do stack up, you know, regular week and Super Weekend for that, you know, top award for the Fragger. So Coops, you know, getting his kills in here, which is always good, or elims, should I say. But second place, S2G. Kelsey, a player that, you know, also stepping up. Soul-K up here as well, the footballist team. Wow, we could see a lot of different things coming out, or I'm planning on seeing a lot of different teams starting to show up in the Super Weekend.
Yeah, the performance that we saw this week out of Footballist is a type of performance that I'm hoping to see out of them now moving into the Super Weekend. You guys can see here the teams that did not make it are going to be grayed out on your screen, and everybody else will be making their way through. So we will not be seeing again Xset, again Team Queso, and for the first time Mad Bulls and Eastern Stars will be sitting out here. Now, Mad Bulls and Eastern Stars, those are the two that I'm actually going to be looking at a lot here, Zute, because they actually had some decent performances in that first Super Weekend, 98 points for Mad Bulls and 114 for Eastern Stars. So the teams that now made their way in Buluk Chaptan and in Besiktas, they are the ones that have to try and either match that point threshold or at least get close to it, because everybody else is just going to be tacking on to their already accrued points.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with your analysis there. And as far as Xset and Team Queso goes, in the grand scheme of things, right, the top 16 go in, there's 20 teams. You can almost just pretty much X them out as non-contenders, so to say, as brutal as that might sound. There is one more week, who knows? Maybe they'll pull a like S2G super like win every chicken dinner, but that's not likely. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier in the sense of there's not as many teams competing for the top 16 now, because 2 teams are just, you could kind of say they're just out completely. So that's also an interesting thing to think about, but that's going to be next week down the line. We still got this Super Weekend to, you know, battle through to see where everyone ends up finishing up Span.
Exactly, and they still have this week. People still have a chance to go on ahead and actually vote for their favorite teams. Just as a one last reminder, after this last match, you guys can go ahead and launch PUBG Mobile and vote for your favorite PMGC teams and players, and go on ahead and get rewards. So get yourself a voting ticket, log into the game, watch live, and of course, go on ahead and get millions of rewards, various pink level permanent items only during this time period. You can also go on ahead and grab PMGC exclusive treasure boxes. So all you have to do is watch PMGC live on YouTube or in the in-game Esports Center, get the PMGC token, and go on ahead and redeem it to get the PMGC permanent items. Now, you guys kind of already covered like everything I wanted to point out. Of course, those 4 teams, like, no, it's great. Those 4 teams that didn't go on ahead and already make it into this next one, those 2 teams, Xset, Team Queso, not making it for the second time. I was going to ask what you guys kind of expected going into this next one, but even more on top of that, will these teams that have now made it for the first time, Buluk Chaptan and Besiktas Esports, do you think that they will have the ability to go on ahead and kind of jump up above those teams that made it because of potentially the knowledge that they got from watching last Super Weekend, Site?
Yeah, the VOD review is going to come in huge for these teams, and they're the unknown coming in, so they could plan their strategy based off of what everyone's doing. So they do have a slight advantage. The only disadvantage, I would say, is the pressure, right? This is going to be their first Super Weekend, whereas for other teams, they have that first Super Weekend down in terms of points, so they're going to feel a lot less pressured, and they might be playing a bit more confidently, whereas the teams coming in that didn't get to play a Super Weekend, they're going to be playing catch-up. So that's a lot of pressure on them, and it might cause them to falter a little bit. I think that's pretty accurate. What are your thoughts on that one, Glitter?
I definitely have that concern as well. The one thing that I think is working against that and making me feel a little bit better about it is the uptick in performance that we saw from the first week of league play for the teams that didn't qualify through to this week of league play and what they managed to do in order to get into Super Weekend. I feel like we saw a lot more quiet consistency out of both of those teams in both Buluk and Besiktas, that if that's something they can kind of continue and really just keep their confidence high, then they will they should be able to at least get close to the point threshold that, Mad Bulls maybe had set, because like I said, that's around that 98 point mark. And when you average that out over the 15 games, it's not unheard. Like, obviously, I mean, you compare that to SOG's 211 points. Clearly, these squads can do it. So I think as long as they come out strong, I think they might be okay, but they definitely have to make it to the last Super Weekend.
Definitely do. At this point, we already know. We already talked about it. Everybody before this qualified into the finals have at least played in 2 Super Weekends to qualify. Just one singular Super Weekend hasn't happened just yet. So, I mean, you can keep it on the board as a possibility, but as we know, it's definitely hard to go on ahead and achieve that. Now, before we go on ahead and close out, one last thing I'd like to point out is that the Knights as well ended up doing really well in both of the league play matches, but when it came to the Super Weekend, not as well. So that personally is what I'm also going to be keeping an eye out on. And luckily, y'all, but we do not have to wait for too long to see what's going to happen in the Super Weekend, because that is going to start off on Friday. So from me, Span Cargo, Zutang, Glitter Explosion, thank you so much for joining us for this league play, and we will see you guys in just a few days to go on ahead and watch the second Super Weekend of PUBG Mobile Global Championships 2021 West League. Thank you guys.